Right, we are live, hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Women's Rugby World Cup. This one, South Africa taking on the Italians. It is overlapping with New Zealand versus Japan, which currently sits 43 points to 12. But this game, in this group, this is so important for both of these teams. Whoever wins this contest will about 99% be making their way through to the quarterfinals. At the moment, it looks like they will be facing up against the New Zealanders. So it is not going to be an easy task, but this game should be phenomenal. Looking through, first of all, at the slight underdogs, and I mean only slight. These sides are pretty much 50-50 in their odds of winning this game. Nadine Roos, she has made the transition from 9 in the last game to number 15 in this contest. That is something that in the women's game is not completely rare to happen, but you don't often see the men's side of things. You know, maybe a halfback will go to the wing, but a big change for Nadine Roos. She's one of the best defenders in this Springbok women's side. They have stuck with Jansie van Rensburg in that number 10 jersey. Tosse will get the start. Malinga out on the wing alongside Dolph. And then also Puffa, keep an eye out for her in that number 13 jersey. And when you talk about players to keep an eye out for, of course, the number 8, Hele. She was phenomenal in last week's game up against the Brazilians. Some massive, powerful runs, some brutal hits, and some pure determination for her side. In terms of the Italians in this contest, they have got, that's the Chiefs. How'd that happen? One moment, boom, there we go, the Italians in this matchup. I will be honest, this Italian team did not perform the way that they would have liked to up against the French, but then at the same time, it's very hard to perform in a match like that when you are up against one of the favourites in the whole competition, but they did well at times. They made some good decisions throughout that match, and I do think they will try and build upon it into this matchup. Musa out on the wing, the Inca out on the other, and then that dangerous combination of Stefan at 9 and Stefanin as that number 10 as well. So, the question mark is, who out of these two sides will be better? Who will be the stronger throughout the 80 minutes? We have got the Italian national anthem currently playing, and then we will be underway. South Africa, they have a tough game next week. They will be taking on the French. For the Italians, they play Brazil. So whoever wins this game, they should be through to that next stage. Like I mentioned, scoring New Zealand versus Japan. Also, by the way, still 43 points to 12. After we did end that last live stream, New Zealand did have a not straight line out in that regard. But overall, that game does seem like the Black Ferns should be strong enough, and it's almost a little bit predetermined in a way. The fact that we get to see New Zealand winning that game, and that is whoever wins this game will more than likely face in their quarterfinal fixture. So it's almost a sign of things to come, seeing these sides in action at the exact same time. Who turned the lights, bro? I wasn't finished with the Black Ferns, says Shane. Yeah, it's weird that these games did overlap. Brazil versus France is actually the exact same. It is going to be starting in an hour and 15 times. We have got there just as well. I don't have work in the morning, says Godson, and go Italy, says BFTA. But now, just about ready to go for this match. Let's go, Hamish, says Blues Nate. The Springbok girls are looking good. I'll be in the top 8 at the end of this. I may even be a little arrogant and say they'll be in the top 5. Top 5 is very optimistic, I'll be honest, because for them to get into the top 5 of this comp and to get into top 5 of the world rankings, they will have to beat the Black Ferns, the defending champs, in the quarterfinals. Now, based off the way that New Zealand are playing, is that a possibility? Perhaps it is. You know, they've had a few mistakes, but last week, South Africa was so clinical in their game up against the Brazilians. They just never really let themselves get into the contest. And Brazil versus France won't be much of a contest, if we're being honest, says Giza. Yeah, that will be one-sided. That should be about 80-0. Or actually, no, that might be harsh. 83. We have got there in some ways. Pool D is the group of death. 3 teams, all with the potential to go through, says Matthew. I actually agree. Same with, in my opinion, Pool A. The one with England, USA, and Australia. They're another group that have got a little bit of extra oomph in their group. I placed it on the Springboks. I just grabbed a Guinness and sit back. I'm going to sit back and watch, says here. But yeah, hopefully it is a match that lives up to the expectations. I was looking at all of the odds throughout the week, and these sides could hardly be split. Even now, they can't be split. And it's intriguing. Both sides love to play fast, attacking rugby. The Italians may go slightly more tactical in this game in terms of a kicking-orientated game. They would have lost that battle with the French, of course, but South Africa, they have got some decent kickers too. You know, Janci Fans Rensburg, she can control a game, but she's not partnered with Nadine Ruiz in that 19 combination anymore. Nadine Ruiz playing 15, Dolph moving out onto the wing. But do let me know who you think will score the first try. I do think there's probably only one right answer in a lot of people's eyes, and that would be Hele in that number 8 jersey. It's a hardcore one-stop streaming. Let's go to another one. Says Godzone there. Yeah, it's certainly something that we aren't normally used to, but it's annoying when there's games that overlap. It's a bit similar to what we had for the Curry Cup as well, but now kicked off by South Africa, going from left to right, and we are underway for this contest. New Zealand, Japan still sitting 43 points to 12, but this game between Italy and South Africa, it has only just begun. That's probably a quote from a song, but I don't know what song. Or maybe a movie. But Italy, little knock on inside of their own 22 to start us off here. Mistake coming early, and that will get to show off that pack dominance that the Springboks like to pride themselves on. Couple early nerves, perhaps, for the Italians. Told them Italy would win, so I could get either way. Or so I can get winning either way. I get to brag or celebrate with my bro, says here. And also, come on, Italy, says Vincent there, and go on Italy. Says Vincent, I mean these two lady teams in the Bok team, or these two ladies that spray painted their hair white, of the best and strongest of all the players in this year's teams. Says Casper. Yeah, Hele in that number 8 jersey. She is a absolutely phenomenal talent. And ready to feed this ball in now. It will be Tosse. Now big push there from South Africa. Advantage in their favour. Picking it up. Hele scores the try. I told you she'd be first, and she has got herself another one in this Rugby World Cup. Just like that. South Africa on the ball. We're only 1 minute 20 in. Italy won't want to drop the ball again. But 4 tries already in this Rugby World Cup. She got herself a hat-trick last week. She was expected to do well in this game too. 84% of the ball. So South Africa, surely they cannot be that one-sided. Well, they've just scored within 90 seconds. So maybe it could be. Don't really watch women's rugby. I have to say it's been absolutely great rugby by the women. I've been watching big time. Says Mike, it's absolutely awesome seeing the support that this Rugby World Cup has had. But the big try for LA there. This is a first point of the total of 169. And Wild says so here. And also we go there, Hamish Fancy predicting the Euro Millions numbers. Says Geza. The thing is though, I'm very good at predicting things when I say them just passing comment. Like if I was to predict a score in this game, I couldn't tell you. But I did think LA had a pretty good chance of crossing first. We went from Raw to SmackDown. Says Blues, Nate and Italy backline, one of the best. Says Kevin. And you're trying to defend there. It was always going to be tough for the Inca to try and drag down a lady of the strength of LA. But now, ball is in the hands of South Africa. The kick did miss, so it is sitting there 5-0 for the South Africans. New Zealand versus Japan, still sitting 43-12, so no tries actually being scored since we left that stream. Had a great start to the match for the South African side. Justin Marshall was saying that they must take on South Africa from the start. If you take South Africa from the start, it will backfire badly for New Zealand. Why would it backfire, though? Because the thing is, he's actually kind of right. New Zealand can't just sit back and let the Springboks play their natural game, or else they will get torn apart. So they have to go up front. They have to try and play that attacking style. And we actually talked about it, me and Tim, a little bit in terms of a video that will be coming out in the near future. Little kick behind from the Italians. Awkward bouncing ball, but nicely claimed by Dolph. Janci Fans Rensburg running this one for Go South Africa. And today South Africa will surprise everyone. Says Mario there. And Japan are winning the second half. Says Geza. That one's going to be kicked in a touch. Wasn't taken back. So Italy will now have themselves the line-out chance with Viceni. And about 40 metres out. And still watching New Zealand versus Japan. Japan really clicking. That's the thing. I've got it dual screened. I haven't seen New Zealand with the ball since transferring over to this next live stream. I reckon rolling mauls ruin the spectacle. Half the tries now are rolling mauls, says Godzone. They are very hard to defend. There's absolutely no denying that. Go Italy, says BFTA. Now, ball is taken by the Italians, retaining their line out without now knocked on by South Africa, I believe. No, it's going to be play on. The ball in the hands of the Springbok Women. On off to the left-hand side. Janci Fans Rensburg joining into the breakdown. Oh, no, they're going back for the original South Africa knock-on that they were initially not calling. I can't see it being a big score difference, but all down to a tiny margin, less than the 7 points in it, says Matthew. And yeah, I think that try right off the bat from the South Africans was probably the wake-up call that this Italian side needed. Good day, Hamish. Good on you. For live coverage, you're a legend, you are. Says Clinton. And yeah, it is greatly appreciated you all popping in so early for this one. Oh no, referees found a different knock-on from earlier on, and it's now going to be, first of all, a knock-on from the Italians, so it will be a South African scrum. So they are just finding the mark if they haven't had the ball. But Japan hasn't scored, that's bad. Says Big Rig. They've got a TMO review at the moment going on in that New Zealand-Japan game. I'd say rolling mauls are more exciting than 3-point penalties all through the match. Says Matthew D. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what you're into, doesn't it, in terms of what you like to see. It's like how some people don't like the top 14. Some people absolutely love it. What a legend. Literally any match I want to watch you do. Says Vincent. Yeah, we've got plenty more coming up in the near future too. The scrums, that is almost looking more like a mall now. Both sides standing up in the front row. Referee says play on. Jansi Funds Rensburg. The option on the left. Sides against it just for now. Now popping it in behind. There will be some dangerous runs in the midfield from Mpupa throughout this game. Has that little bit of extra pace and power, which kind of epitomises the Springbok women's side. They are now 40 metres out from the line. Good defence from Italy, trying to shut it down early now. Jansi Fans Rensburg puts in the fin, trying to bump off the Lock-and-Duka. Now 22 metres out. South Africa, what a start to this contest. 6 minutes of just pretty much possession back to back. That was close to the steal for the Italians in the breakdown. Now wrestled down again. And a little knock-on coming from South Africa there, which is going to bring another scrum. We're going to see quite a few of those throughout this game. Yellow gone to red. Says Geza there. One moment, we will go like this. We will go like that. Yeah, red card here for New Zealand. And it's going to be Laura Bayfield who does get that red. That will have interesting implications heading forward. Now we have got everyone fighting for second place. England is too strong, says Robert T. But the only slight chink in the armour of England is the fact that they had their chance last World Cup and they blew it. So, don't get me wrong, they are heavy favourites, but that will still be in the players' minds a little bit. We have got there, why are you so against Ireland? Is that from myself or from someone else? Oh, you're against Ireland, though, says Vincent. I assume that's because of that one live stream where we had someone from Ireland saying how strong Ireland were in World Cups, and we set them straight. And ever since then, it's as if we've somehow got a reputation of not like an Ireland. You should have seen my reactions when Ireland beat New Zealand in New Zealand. You would probably say that I was against New Zealand in that case. Georgia Miller just scoring for the Kiwis. Italy now in possession here, going on the outside. Left-hand chance. One more passed out wide. I also did back Ireland to win the Six Nations. And they did. So a weird way of showing bias. Oh, big shot. That looked ugly there. She may have actually been knocked out. She does not look in a good way. Come on, South Africa. Says Johannes there. And now, on a little chip in behind. Attempted. In fact, it's almost turned more into a cross kick. Stays in the field of play. Offload on the inside. It was forward. Ireland didn't win the Six Nations, didn't they? Don't even remember, to be honest. Come on, South Africa, says Johannes. Miller time. I know they didn't. France won it. Maybe. We'll see. I backed them and they lost. So what does that tell you? But now, just knocked on. Oh, we have got there. No, they didn't. France won it. Well, there you go. France, pretty handy side. Well, just touching the line before trying to pass it on the inside. At least you know the Kiwi lads back South Africa in this game. Says Casper. And we came third, says Jimbo. Oh, yeah, no, England got second, didn't they? Or was it Scotland? I don't even remember the Six Nations. It feels like it was a couple of years ago, but it was only about 5 months, wasn't it? We over there, Petty feels feeling sorry, Bulls. Says one there. I either win everything, but the most important games, says Godzone. And we have got there, yes, England blew the last World Cup. The sending off in New Zealand getting more of the 50-50 calls was just too much for England to overcome. Says Akaris. Yeah, it did end what was it, a 50 match winning streak or something they were on? I was just getting knocked off his mile-wide fence. Says Fleshin. Yeah. We obviously haven't been praising Ireland enough. You know, number one in the world for what was it, a good year and a bit? Now, going off to the right-hand side here for New Zealand. Currently 48-19 the score in that contest. What happened the Cheetahs doing this week, or what happened during the Cheetahs game, they did end up losing to the Griquas in the Carling Curry Cup. I won't say they lost badly because it might sound like I'm biased against them, but they did end up losing 40 points to 10. So not really that close. Looks like just the injury dealing with at the moment. 77% possession in favour of the South Africans. That was definitely not what was expected in this case. And Sorensen McGee has just scored for New Zealand 70 minutes, and that brings up the half century for the Kiwis. And it does look like Jordana Duka is going to continue in this game. And what a try. There's Jimbo there, and Well Braxton. There's Nov Mum as well. So she has now got her hat-trick in that Japan versus New Zealand game. But now South Africa able to kick this one into touch. And if you take on South Africa from the start, you play into South Africa's hands. Have to remember South Africa is highly motivated for this game in Eden Park. Says Mornay. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome match, isn't it? When they go head-to-head. Some brilliant November internationals as well, just around the corner. Thrown in now short, stolen by the Italians at the front of the line out. Now a little bit of counter-attack and momentum and a bit of position. It will go a long way for this Italian side. Now left the back line. Oh, that looked like a little bit of a limp there from one of the players for the Italians. I believe it would have been Solari. Now, nice inside pass, just managing to stay in the field of play, 25 metres out from the line. Stefanin, long pass. South Africa trying to turn it into a maul. We have got there, Hamish. Will you be running the commentary for the third round of the Rugby Championship? We certainly will be. New Zealand versus South Africa, as well as Australia versus Argentina. Two phenomenal games. One massive weekend of rugby. I'm going to be covering it all on the channel. Another offload there, but dropped out wide for Dienka. Just a few too many mistakes here from the Italians at the moment when it comes to their handling. And now it's going to be a Mehrberger, says Jimbo. Just trying to find it into the wide channels. Nadine Rush, she did run forward a little bit there, so left a bit of a gap behind, had that pass found their hands. 10 minutes into the match, South Africa still leading the 5-0. If they win this game, they are 99% guaranteed to make their way through to the quarterfinals. Another try for the Ferns. Says Geza there. Yeah, they've been scoring them for fun in this last kind of maybe about 5-10 minute period. And South Africa will win. Go the bot, go. Says Sarah there. See there, Malinga. We're looking forward to her chance, but this time it's Renee Holmes who does score it in the New Zealand-Japan game, making the score now 62-19. Ibangas Garner as the referee for Saturday's clash, says Mornay. It is Carl Dixon will be in charge of it. Go Italy, go. Says Vincent. But now making her way forward, Jansi Funds Rensburg. Across to the right, Tosse. Oh no, Italian players sleeping and they will have to stop this game here. And this may be quite the brutal knock. They're saying let her go. She has not moved here. She is flat out on her back. This does not look good one bit. There is no movement whatsoever from this Italian player. Tried to make the tackle on South Africa. If we don't get cards again, the ABs will win. It'll be interesting to see how England deal with Georgia Miller. But yeah, this is going to be a relatively long stoppage. The stretcher is already out there. So it is going to be a scrum. But it will take a little while for them to be able to get back in there. We have got there, go South African, go, says Mervyn. And we have got there France, the winner of the 2025 Six Nations Championship. Second, England, Ireland, third, and fourth, Scotland. Says Casper in there. Who you got for Scotland versus the Wallaroos? Scotland versus the Wallaroos or England versus the Wallaroos? Scrum to who? Says Vincent. So because the Italians had the ball, I believe it will be their scrum feed. And it is just inside of the 22. We have got there, I've been knocked out in a rugby game where I only woke up in the hospital the next day, says I lollipop. Yeah, this one, it looks quite serious because like she was pretty much just flat out on her back and there was no movement whatsoever for a good, I would say a good, oh, hang on. We got some clapping from the crowd. I assume that's because she is back up on her feet or at least maybe sitting up at the moment. This is the most beautiful ref I've ever seen. She is gorgeous, says One Pierre Bosch. How many times did Italy surrender? Says Kevin, and we have got that none of the French players have won in New Zealand or South Africa or a World Cup. So they haven't achieved anything yet. Says God's Own. And yeah, just leading in with the challenge. It just hits her head right on the knee. she going to continue in this game? Surely not. Now, they've already made the change. And we have got there, sorry about asking so many questions, but is it a Italy scrum in their own 22 or South Africa's? It is inside of South Africa's 22. We're just seeing that scrum dominance so far from South Africa. Put it in your pants, Juan. Six Nations wins are accomplishments, says Studs Race. And even better referee, South Africa is more used to the Northern Hemisphere referee than New Zealand, says Mornay Lagrange. Although, from that debate video a little while ago, 2 cents said about how New Zealand have never lost a test match under Carl Dixon. And they've also given away less penalties each time that they have played with Carl Dixon as the referee. Braxton Sorensen McGee gets player of the match in the game up against Japan. Currently scores 62-19 with 5 minutes remaining in the contest. They are just showing that first try, the only try of this game from Ellie in that number 8 jersey. And come on, girls, South Africa, you can do it. Scrum them, says Mary. Yeah, the big celebrations from the coaches of South Africa too. That early try did definitely throw off the Italians. Fresh news is that South Africa Rugby employed Drakus du Plessis as part-time coach for the forwards to improve their ground game. Surely they should have got Hamzat in for that, shouldn't they? No, sorry. Yeah, Drakus, he'd be all right as a rugby player, to be fair to him. Over there, I'm a neutral. I generally see the case for Argentina beating Australia twice. Says Vincent, is she okay? She is actually still down. I'm not sure who they were clapping before. I think they were clapping the lady who was warming up on the sideline. But they are putting her on the stretcher, taking all the precautions. I believe they will be putting her neck in that brace as well. Now we have got the F1 result. Is Piastri, Verstappen, and Haja, says Yuri. And the Rugby Championship has the best sides. The Six Nations is basically the best of the rest, says Godzone. You know, she is still down at the moment. You've got that neck strap. So this will take a little bit of time out of the game. Why is this game not being played, says Destiny? At the moment, there is the injury for Turani, I believe. So yeah, they are just making sure that she is going to be all right before they can continue the game, seeing as she is lying down on the field. South Africa will also never lost against Carl Dixon. Someone is going to lose. Hopefully it's New Zealand, says Mornay Lagrange. Everyone just trying to stay loose at the moment. It is quite a task when you have such a long stoppage for these players. You know, you get used to running around and then just grinding halt. And New Zealand-Japan game would have been 70-21 if all conversions were kicked. Says all in the game. You see, four missed kicks, though, from the amount of tries that New Zealand have got probably isn't too bad, to be fair to them. Like 4 out of the 10. Yes, you could argue that in a big game that could cost them. What is her condition? Was it high contact? Wasn't high contact. She went in for a tackle and pretty much ate the opposition's knee, knocked herself out unconscious completely. But the crowd are all clapping as she makes her way onto the stretch, including the South African players as well, which is a nice touch. Sign of respect there. In fact, this is the loudest cheer we might hear all throughout this game. Oh, it's actually the Italian player who is clapping as well. The one who got knocked out, who's got her neck in a brace at the moment, she is applauding the crowd for clapping her. That is something you do not see too often. Normally it's a thumbs up, but she's full on just having a round of applause for the crowd who are giving her a round of applause here. So that is a very good sign. It means that she is not going to be, in terms of any sort of injury to do with her neck. And we have got there, what do you think of Carl as a referee? He's all right. He'll do the job. Only a bad team that blames the referee, says Big Rick. The South African woman almost beat Italy earlier this year. Says I lollipop. Hilarious says I lollipop there. But it is going to be the scrum. In fact, it is the scrum for South Africa. My apologies, on their own 22. We have got there a tough Italiano woman. She's on the la-la juice, says Jimbo. Looking at the comparison, it looks like Ireland will be a breeze for the Black Ferns, says Godzone. Yeah, that game going to be taking place next week. South Africa's on the board already. Yeah, the early drive from LA. Now kicked downfield from inside of their 22 as this game is back underway. Dolph chasing after it, slaps it back onto the side of South Africa and now wrestled towards the sideline, knocking the ball on in the process for Kawe. And all in the game she is. That's why they're mobbing her in the streets, says Big Rig. She collects because she's not fully awake yet, Says Casper, to be fair though, if you've just been knocked out, the last thing I think you would think to do is just give a round of applause, unless she thinks she's in the crowd. That might have been a factor. Maybe she thought she was watching the rugby and she was given the round of applause for it, or applause for it. That's not straight from the Italians. It means that South Africa will be able to use their scrum yet again. And who should win this match? Like, who is the better team? Italy came in as only marginal favourites. But if you look at their first matches, South Africa did score a lot of points up against the Brazilians. Italy were beaten 24-0 up against the French. Let's go, Italy, says BFTA. Concusto injured already, says Ruth. So the Italian forward, she did go off the field. Nadine Ruiz just calling the shots here from the back. Perhaps some sort of set piece could be coming here for South Africa. I think that they'll just go with the big run of LA. They give her some painkillers. She could be on cloud 9 and not know what's going on, says Big Rig. Everyone's clapping, yo, clap, 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 says Big Rig. And now attack and run forward again around the halfway line for South Africa. And across to the left, Nadine Ruiz finds herself as first receiver. Ball knocked on in the tackle by the Italians. South Africa going to be physically superior. Yeah, they've gone out and really enforced physicality here for this contest. I will mention New Zealand versus Japan has just come to a close. That contest, we will quickly go like that and like that. But a good win for New Zealand, 62-19. They'll be happy enough with that. Greetings from Winnipeg, South Africa for the win, says Kip Coke there. And there as well. And if they were to win this game, they would move through to the quarterfinals, more than likely to face that team that we were just talking about in New Zealand. So it would not be an easy quarter, but just to get there would be an absolutely massive achievement. And now we've got it back into full screen for South Africa versus Italy. They're saying New Zealand back 3 was vulnerable against Argentina. That's where Argentina won the game against New Zealand. Says Mornay Lagrange. Now big scrum again. Italy just about holding on. South Africa now get themselves the penalty advantage though. And the question is, how will their scrum match up with someone like in New Zealand, like in England, Canada? Because I have to say, one of the most physical packs it would seem. And the guy was actually 64-19. There's BFTA in there. But 14 minutes into this contest, yep, scoreboard does look like it's behaving itself. Just a one try on the board for LA. At this point, she is an absolute try-scoring machine. I will mention that the game between Brazil and France, it is kicking off in 51 minutes. Should be potentially a bit one-sided. On everything that I've seen as well, it does have 62-19 as the end score in Japan versus New Zealand. Oh, Jansi Funds Rensburg. Bit of a mouse forming on the forehead here from the collision. And the invisible ranking for this Women's World Cup puts South Africa first and Canada second. The invisible rankings. Is that one of those ones that you have to have the special light to be able to read? Now Italy sitting about 22 metres out from the line. That's a huge collision there. And I think maybe the South African prop may have got the worst of it. Latsha might have stayed down. Oh no, she back up now. She all right. And now back line. Nadine Ruiz getting bumped off. That was too much tongue roll. And now trying to turn it into the rolling maul. Finding her way to the ground was Selaria. Or Selari, I should say. Now replacement lock gets her first touch of the day. Now back across. Minusi. We have there another match. Hamish, is it overlapping? That game would be, but we aren't covering that Brazil versus France game. We are going to be covering this one right from start to finish here. And at least still 30 metres from the airline. 5 phases in. And our back 3 suck. Only Jordan I like, says Godzone. And the good news is Caleb Clark did well in his game up against Wellington. The Bunnies NBC, he had the most carries. He had 55 metres carried, 6 defenders beaten and a try. I think he walks into that number 11 spot ahead of Rico Ioane. Off to the right, around the halfway line, South Africa will be the run now from Latsha. Across, Nadine Ruiz. She kind of just goes anywhere in the back line. Oh, loose ball, South Africa having a jump on it with him, Poopa. But she just has that much skill that she can play halfback, she can play 10, she can play 15, she can play anywhere that she's needed. She could probably play in the forwards as well with the turnover ability in the breakdown. We have got there the Italian woman ate their pasta last night. Surely that will be the difference, says Kevin. Maybe. I mean, carb loading the night before is something that we've seen in rugby quite often. Doesn't just have to be pasta either. Some people absolutely love a potato. Tangitau and Whainānuku could be considered immediately, or should be considered immediately too. Yeah, the only thing with Whainānuku is, unless they make an exception, but I think he'll come in for November. Looks like maybe oh no. The Italian player, she had her contact in her finger, or on her finger, and it just blew away in the wind. So now one of the medics are looking for a replacement contact lens. That's a bit unlucky, isn't it? Not what you want. See there, a Benetton kit in the stands. Who has the ball? Says Vincent. At the moment, neither of the sides. They're just waiting for the contact lens to be put back in. Malinga, Mpuffa, and Rus from sevens. Says Goyo there. Yeah, they've got plenty of talent from that seven circuit into the side. And also, boom, smashing pumpkins, baby, tackled like a lioness. Says Ruth, and beautiful smiles, Japan. Are you going to wear the suit for Saturday's match? I think I'll have to. If I didn't, I would get a huge amount of stick. A few kits in the stands for South African players too, but it is the line-out throw for the Italians now. 25 metres from their line. The Chene. Oh, going to the front. Really low line-out, and it's considered not straight. And that now means that the South Africans have got themselves the scrum. Italy are not happy about it. Poor Italian South Africans are not prepared. The horrible English weather, says Big Rig. Yeah, no, that was not straight. Unfortunately, if you do throw to the front, you still have to have it in the middle. She did throw it on the outer shoulder of the Italian prop, so I don't know why she was angry about that decision. Currently 16 and a half minutes through. It looks like another injury here, this time for South Africa. Just dealing with a little bit of one at the moment. Line out not straight, says Blues native. That's the type of one that can really hurt you, definitely when you're inside of your own half. You know, they have to make sure they're exiting well. I just don't know if they're quite doing that at the moment. Because they've actually been stuck inside of their half quite a few times throughout this one. South Africa drink their wine and eat their braais. That will be the difference. Show them girls, says Neville. How good there, Italy might not be happy, but I'm certainly happy. And none of the Italians are straight mostly. Says Kevin, that's going to be the penalty going the way of the South Africans. True, Hamish hurt him badly, says Blues Nate. Jancy Funds Rensburg. We need to put this one into touch. South Africa would love a rolling maul here, and they certainly have the power to be able to do it. Goes South Africa, says Cyber Rags. This one will be about 10 metres out from the line. Lochner in the number 5 jersey for this game. She is also the captain in this contest, but this rolling maul, like I said, it could make a lot of metres in quick succession. Thrown in. Italy not able to steal that one. Lochner taking it nicely. 10 metres out from the try line. This one's still moving. Huala has the ball in hand, still breaking away, and it's a penalty to Italy because of that breaking away a little bit too far. Bit of obstruction. LA is not happy. She yells right in the referee's face. She's got to be careful doing that. She might get marched back 10. She looks absolutely confused by the call. Is Van Rende not an Italian name originally? Or maybe is that Tarini? We have got there. Wait until South Africa brings their bomb squad on. Says Casper, and goes South Africa, says Cyber. Yeah, they're going to have to score a lot more points in a hurry, go Casper, for that 169-0 scoreline. But at the moment, they have still kept the Italians to the 0. I already know who wins this game, says Bruce. And I am from Craigenson, Francis Bay. Hope you're doing well. Now rolling more here for the Italians, trying to fire it back. It's been taken down. And Rose at fullback, says Blues Nate. Yeah, but she spent a lot of time in that kind of first and second receiver role. So it's as if on attack, they want her in the firing line. And then on defense, she's willing to drop back. Like she's actually defending out on the wing at the moment. So they must have someone back. Well, you would think that they would, but I don't know if they do. I'm looking through. Mpuffa's there. They've got Dolph up front. Nadine Rus. Oh, no, I saw someone at the back there. I think that might have been... Oh, here she goes. Tackle attempt there. Missed at the back from Tossi. So she is the one who gets the drop back in those defensive scenarios. Be patient, South Africa. Be patient. Now, Italia moving up to the halfway line. Ball is dropped. Now, Nadine Rus on the attack. Looking for the pass on the outside. Finds. Oh, that was almost an ankle breaker there for Kawe. However, he had some patience At least Italy will be chained to the 0 score. Can't see them moving forward, says Gasper. Miss Nigel Owen, says Big Rig. Now again, going back across to the left for Tosse. Yancy Fans Rensburg, what a beautiful cellular dummy. Nadine Ruiz on the inside. They'll make sure it was backwards, but if it was, it's the try for Nadine Ruiz. Now, she's getting swarmed by her teammates here, and I think the ref's going to have a word to them because they maybe got on the field a little bit early there in the celebration. She got dove on by one of her teammates off the reserves bench. The legend Nigel Owens praise him. And we have got the Miss Nigel Owens in there. And go the Bocky, says Simongele. And what a beautiful pass from Yancy Fans Rensburg. Perfect timing. And yeah, one of the reserves actually diving on Nadine Ruiz. Imagine if she injured her in that scenario because she landed on her pretty heavy. We're going to see the replay there. Yeah, slams down. And some celebration from the head coach as well. Sarah, real patient and building, very slick. And nice, Nadine, says Gasper, and also Russ, your little beauty. And the kick has gone over from Dolph. South Africa now leading 12-0 over the Italians. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but South Africa wins, says Bruce. And South Africa will be in the quarter, says Gasper. As long as they win this game, they certainly will be. But a really attacking and dangerous run from Yancy Fans Rensburg. A forward pass by not by much. Yeah, I thought they may check it. Okay, yeah, now the referee went over to them and pretty much told all of the reserves, get off the field. You're not supposed to be out there. So, but then what? It's a tricky one because what can she do about it? Oh, kicked out on the full from Nadine Ruiz. So it goes from having a brilliant try down one end to making a mistake down the other. This will be as far up the field as the Italians have been throughout this match. I think they run out of petrol and Italy come back storming, says Kevin. I just mentioned there about the Italians not even scoring a point as of yet in this competition. Thrown into the front this time. They do decide to offload it in straight, rolling more defence from the box, holding up. Does force Italy slowly towards the sideline. Balls getting a little bit lost there. Well done from the 9 to be able to fight it out for Stefan. Now Yancy Fans Rensburg cleaned out of the breakdown. Stefan again going off. Nice inside ball to the 22-metre line. Pick and go now. Is this the chance that the Italians needed? Their back line is set. Now 3 or 4 options. Passes out wide. Nadine Ruiz. What a tackle. That is low and close to the sideline. Serrali. Now 5 metres out. South Africa, they had some pretty impressive goal line defence up against the Brazilians. And that will be the penalty now going the way of Italy. They said there it might have been quite cynical. No yellow card taken, but quick tap taken by Italy. They will go back, though, as it wasn't on the mark. You see, they have to be those big mamas that will plough their way through to score. See, Bruce, are you talking about Nadine Ruiz, one of the smallest players on the field? Now we have got there, I suppose has done very well with this Bok team. Yeah, they look like a very strong side so far in this competition, and also in their build-up games to the Women's World Cup too. They've been told to release there, South Africa. Stefan popping it up again, just out from the try line. It is the captain, Eliza Giordano, or Darno, I should say. Now backline, she needed to pass. She'll go herself, made it a little bit of an easier kick, but it will be Vittoria Ustuni Minuzzi who does score that try for the Italians. Nadine Ruiz is one of South Africa's most prominent women's rugby players, excelling in both rugby 7s and 15s formats. Says Casper, that sounds like something straight off ChatGPT, but beautiful try there for the Italians. And like they said, she had to score it because she didn't want to pass on the outside. Does maybe make this kick a little bit easier. So if this one goes over, it's definitely the right decision that she decided to score it herself. And took your opportunity there. South Africa needs to stay disciplined. Says Studs Race. There's an American college football player whose hip was famously broken in a celebration. Says Gus. I mean, you look at someone in the UFC. We were talking about that earlier on. Johnny Walker. Oh, hits the post and bounces back out, so the score will remain 12-5. But he won his fight to then do a salute to a worm, hurt his shoulder, and then was out for like 6 months afterwards, and from there lost all his momentum, although just recently getting himself a win in China for a recent UFC card. But a great try firing back. The Italians needed one. That is now their first points of this whole Women's Rugby World Cup. Question is, will it be their only in this matchup? Turani has made her way back on. That is for Maris, who did replace her briefly. She passed her HIA. So now does get to continue. Kicked off by Jansi van Rensburg. That was a nervous moment for the Italians. Bit of a juggle on the ball. We have good there. AI commentary must be OTW, I reckon, says Marcus. Yeah, I don't think it will be a mile away. I know that there's rugby podcasts that are all AI. I saw that a little while ago about the Rassi Erasmus kind of situation. There was a podcast where they had two voices of AI, pretty much just you put in a prompt, and they had a whole podcast conversation about the Springboks, all through AI. And thank you, Kiwi Lad, for broadcasting this match for us. I love our sporting team, says Yorena, and I think you're going to be seeing more of them. Because at this point in time, I believe South Africa could book themselves a spot to the semi-final. The quarterfinal. If they are able to get themselves the victory here. The goalpost is winning this weekend. No goal for you, says Blues Nate. Now thrown in by South Africa. Nicely claimed. A bit of a rough pass by Jansi van Rensburg. Has got some very safe hands. They don't want to start a fight. They might get stopped. Says Kevin there. Saw a baseball player do his ankle after hitting home run, but stomped on home plate too hard. Says Thuds Race. Yeah, it happens. Celebrations in sports can sometimes be, that's a big collision there, but they can be lethal. Or maybe not lethal, but they can be pretty dangerous. And then you get the ones who celebrate before they've won a race just to be overtaken in the final moments. Going to be the advantage now in favour of South Africa. Still under the penalty advantage, and they will now go back for it. I know someone on the run from the police because he believed AI. Says I lollipop. What did he put into AI? Like, would I get caught if I robbed a bank? And AI went, probably not. And he went, okay, it's a good idea. Thank you, Kiwi Lad, for broadcasting it. Also, like that South Africa bodybuilder that competed or celebrated by doing a backflip and broke his neck. Yeah, sometimes the celebration is more dangerous than the thing you're doing in the first place. Have you seen that video of the guy who broke his leg right at the finish line and kind of fish flopped his way past the line? I have not, but it sounds like something that would be quite brutal to watch. Another kicker that has same kick and go coach as Lebok. Looks like an injury here for one of the South African backs. Nadine Roos was South Africa Rugby Women's Player of the Year in 2022 and again in 2024. South Africa Rugby is very poor compared to Ireland. In the men's or the women's? It looks like Mpupa is going to be trying to continue. I've just realised why you think I'm biased against Ireland, Vincent, and it's because I don't talk them up as much as you do. But scrum in the middle of the field looks like it will be the choice taken up. The Stags, what a game that they had. Men's in the Union or the Sevens? Back on the feet now. She's going to try and continue. I think that's actually Mkatshua. Crazy game, a workmate gamble based on AI picks last month. Didn't go well. Hamish, any chance you and Colonel Chris Wyatt, Rugby has sent it to a dual commentary for the South Africa against New Zealand game. Who knows, there may be a talent scout looking for two great commentators, says David. I will mention, I would like to, at some stage, try and do a co-commentary, but it doesn't really work unless you're in the same location. And the reason for that is just that little delay in terms of, there's that little hesitancy. But we talked, or I messaged him a little while ago. I sent him an email about potentially doing a video, and I never got a reply back. So, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll try and do something, but until then, hopefully, the commentary's still going well. I hate it when we have to play in white, says Godzone. What's your opinion on skew throw-ins and the scrums? Something that they don't probably ever have a chance of fully getting rid of because it happens far too often, but some sides do really chuck it in. We actually saw a game a little while ago how they were putting it that far on their own side that it was actually affecting the hooker because it was going behind the hooker's foot. Nadine Roos breaking the line again. Beautiful pass on the outside. Big chance for South Africa. Down the wing, Malinga's got too much pace and she will score the try. And that is nicely done. A little bit of a celebration there from Ele as well. But Malinga, pure pace. 3 tries now for her. And the confidence of that scrum has been absolutely huge throughout this one. The men's team has obviously gone to be ahead of the women's team. They benefited from more money over the years. And Pure Gas is all in the game. And also, we have got there the men's 15 team are far ahead of them. Like in the world rankings, I assume you're talking about. It's probably the biggest one at this current point in time. Since the last time we played England, we nailed the Irish. Last time England played it, we nailed the Irish. And nice bockies and the ABs look like priests. Those stupid big white collars. That one misses away to the side, so the score will remain currently 17 points to 5 in favour of the South Africans. England puts more money into our men's team, and the women's team is still better. So here's Big Rig and another try. Boom, go the bockies. So here's Michael, but Nadine Roos. If they can avoid her having an injury before those quarterfinals, if South Africa do make it that far, which at the moment looks likely, it could be a real threat to a lot of sides in this competition. Nicely taken by Kachulwa. Tose goes back into the pocket to Jansi van Rensburg. Once again, just playing that little bit of a territory game. South African women play like the men, unlike any other women's team. Funny to watch. Says I lollipop. Now Italy sitting 40 metres out from the line. Back across to the left-hand side. Little grubber there. Oh, awkward bouncing ball goes underneath Jansi van Rensburg. Now nice. Low tackle again. Italy over the ball. They don't get the turnover though. This time they're going to try for it again, and there is a little knock on, is there? No, referee was just saying to get back on side. And Joe True. But then how many men's teams are professional compared to the women's team, says Matthew D. Now another carry. Back into the pocket. Jansi van Rensburg kicks it towards the sidelines. That one's going almost onto the roof of the stadium. It will be now the line out for Italy. They are slowly working their way towards that South African try line. Van Rensburg, she's still got that mouse on the forehead from where she got a pretty brutal shot and a breakdown earlier on. Own lineouts 1-2 for South Africa. They've lost one. Italy have won 3 of their own lineouts, but they have lost 2. I remember in the 80s, a bubblegum brand, they put rugby player profiles in the pack. Boys were so into collecting and trading those cards, marbles for cards. So here's Marcus and go to the box. Here's Johnny. Ball thrown in, and that's nicely stolen by South Africa again. That's now 3-3 for the Italian lineout, which is not quite as high as, of course, they would like it to be. Now another big run forward. Great power being shown by Lachia. This is one of the better tug-of-war contests I've seen so far. Otherwise, South Africa could have been sitting at 25 plus by now, says Sana. Is Nadine Roos related to Bulky Roos brothers? I'm not sure who she's related to in terms of, because I don't think she's related to Evan Roos. But I'm not sure about anyone else in terms of the family tree. Sitting 22 metres out from the line. Now Tosse will go for the box kick. Doesn't get a huge amount of distance on it, but likes to keep it quite low, and it has actually gone out on the full there. It did just go outside of the 22 to start with. Purple here of Tosse makes her stand out very much in that 9 kit today. Now Vicini ready to throw this ball in for the Italians. They need something before the halftime break. Good at stealing. They practice a lot, says Bruce. And go to the box, says Johnny. Now thrown in, nicely taken. Now moving sideways. Now it's down illegally is the call by the ref. Now pop pass up, a lot of pressure there. Ball's gone backwards twice in a row. 3 times in a row for the Italians. There's a player down at the moment for Italy as well, but it's going to be jumped on by Sofia Stefano. Oh my, that's an ugly collision. That's almost bad enough for a yellow there. That was quite dirty from the South African player. Be very careful. Don't do that again. Go back was the comment there from the referee. But yeah, that was an ugly collision there. Rose was abandoned by her mother at preschool in South Africa. Her grandmother travelled 160 miles in order to look after her. Says all in the game. Oh, that one's been just kept in field. No, foot was on the line. This sets up a great week for our rugby team, says Jan there. Yeah, if both New Zealand and South Africa get themselves the wins in the women's game, fun fact, 2 weeks' time, they will be playing off in the quarterfinal of the Women's Rugby World Cup, more than likely just arriving late there. The commentators there saying that she was lucky to just get away with the penalty for the collision on the ground. Good reffing there, yellow would be harsh, but deserved a warning. There's Studs Ray now going off to the right-hand side. The sun is shining in England for this game in York. Now off to the right, pick and go from Stefan. Big chance here for the Italians. Offloaded up, and it will be Vittoria Vicini who does score. Now the reserves of Italy decide to run onto the field just like South Africa did for their second try. And this game is back and forth now, ladies and gents. We have got there excellent pronunciation of the South African names. Nadine Roos is a little general. And we have got there, hi mate. You just keep us connected to the world. You have great commentary skills. I pray that someday you will land a job as a commentary. Much appreciated. Go to the lady box. Says Regine there and LA Smash that centre. Says I Lollipop. Yeah, not exactly legally in that one, but yeah. It was a huge shot, but what a great run from Vittoria Vicini. I think a lot of credit has to go to the offload on the ground. And we see like maybe rain clouds in the background, so the sun may not be out for long. Game on, says all in the game. And we have there before focusing on rugby. Rus was a talented sprinter, competing in athletics and earning a bursary in the University of Pretoria, where she was introduced to rugby. And also we have there, Bruce, have you been hanging outside on the bars for a bit too long today? You think maybe all the blood's run somewhere else rather than his brain. We have got there, I was abandoned at one and ended up in foster homes and orphanages with a big smile from God's Zone there. And Italy must fettuccine them, says Kevin. I do always find it interesting how anytime Italy play, people always reference pasta. You know, any other side around the world, people don't mention the food. But for some reason, anytime Italy play, they go, oh, they've had pizza, or they've had pasta. But I don't understand why. Like, I get that it's from Italy that food comes from. But, like, you know, it's just only the Italians. And we have got the Our Lady will win, says Mario there. And the score now sitting 12 points to 17. Yeah, this crowd, or sorry, maybe this cloud is coming in quite quickly because Italian food is the best, says Big Rig. And let's go, says Blues Nate, and bedtime for me. Italian's not going away. Hopefully an 80-minute thriller on the cards here. And come on, dude, you're sleeping on Italian food. I'm not saying the food's bad whatsoever. It's weird that people use, like, the Italian cuisine as an insult to this Italian side. Italy are known to have the best food by far. But now going on the outside, and Malinga just wrestled into touch. Pasta is not that good for sportsmen and women, scientifically proven, says Casper. And we all like pasta, says Tyrone. And we have there, well done, Italy. South Africa must turn up smarter, and Italy will turn the table on them. We have there, True Hamish, says Blues Nate. Now, cross to the left-hand side. It was a good attack and move initially. Malinga just getting too close to the sideline. We love your face and commentary. Please show some of the game. We're here in the field in the desert, hunting in the great Kalahari. We need some images, please, says Melissa. Sadly, if I was to show the images, my face would disappear for 3 months. And potentially, you would see my face behind bars for copyright infringement. But yeah, sadly, the only way to watch it is the free-to-air or paid subscription options. Because or else me showing anything is completely illegal. And, you know, if you're going to do something completely illegal, best not to do it in front of 576 people. Yes, please show 10 seconds of the game. Says Casper, nice attack and run from Malinga again here. South Africa sitting 45 metres out from their try line. Well, using the forwards this time, Charlie. What games next week? We got plenty. We're going to be doing some of the Curry Cup. We got the Rugby Championship, Pacific Nations Cup. We're going to hopefully do some Australian food is better. Check MasterChef. Says Johannes, that one's going to be a knock-on from Italy again. Just came from work, says Mujahideen. And also, I'd rather have a hungy, says God's Zone. And good afternoon here, Hamish. Is freaky around. And also, Roof, Italy have more petrol. And please, Italy, don't, says Slump. Hello, I will share some pics, says Melissa. And South Africa have a World Cup coach, says Mario. Or Mario, I should say. Just a few too many handling errors, I would say, from Italy in this first half. South Africa, their discipline's been all right. You know, I don't think South Africa have had anything too bad from this first half overall. You know, their handling's been pretty solid. Penalty count, not too bad. They've had some brilliant running, and I do think that they currently look like the better side, but Italy, if they can sort out their handling, could be dangerous throughout the second 40 minutes. Prosciutto, says Gus there. It looks like just a little bit of calf work going on for Charlie in the front row. For the South Africans at the Lucia prop roll, that's going to be hard on the knee. That looked like he was stretching a bit too much in the wrong direction. Then how much do pay for you show live footage? Well, Sky Sport for the Rugby World Cup here in New Zealand have exclusive broadcasting rights, which means you couldn't actually pay any amount of money for them to lose those rights. You know, maybe you're talking in the millions though, not like it's not going to be a $5 chuck at them and they'll go, yeah, go on, show a bit of it. It is $1 million deals. And nothing beats 2-minute noodles, diminished 1 minute. Says Blues Nate. You can pay enough to buy Sky Sports. Says Big Rig. And who do Springboks Women play after this? Says Mohadine. So the next game that they will have is up against the French. They're going to be going head-to-head with them 3:45 a.m. New Zealand time. So that is 5:45 p.m. for you guys in South Africa on Monday morning. And then also Italy, their last game will be up against the Brazilians of the group stage as well. Now, big run from LA. She did have a dangerous run right at the start of this game, but from there, I'll be honest, this is much less than we saw her last week. What a shot, says Alumi there. And please, Italy, don't beat our ladies, please. Now going off to the right-hand side. Off to the left-hand side. Pickers like eating worms, just horrible, says Kevin. Well, you're supposed to cook it first, Kevin. Now off to the right-hand side. Nadine Ruiz. Big shot there. Coming in from the midfield. Rigoni. Putting in the hit. A pineapple best on pizza, says Johannes. Little chip in behind and the mark is called by Italy. Maybe a slight mistake there from the South Africans in terms of the decision-making. Why did the Italian women's rugby team always bring extra pasta to the game? Because they knew they'd need the carbs to tackle those scrums al dente. Hamish, cooked worms is not much better. To be fair, if I had an option between raw worms or cooked worms, I would take the cooked worms. Of course, if I had the option of not eating cooked worms, I would probably take that one, depending on what the other thing is in the equation. What are the odds, says Slump? I'll have a wee look. I know that at the start of the game, it was extremely even. Like we're talking $1.85 to $1.87. So at the moment, it may have slightly changed. Then there's been a not to show live footage. Then I'm at Hamish for 3 months. Says Morning, go Springbok Women, says Vanita. Currently just the 40 seconds remaining. South Africa do have the ball in hand. Another pick and go around the side of the breakdown. Time to move this ball around that little bit more. Source of protein that's cheap and everywhere, says Big Rig. And don't expect to believe eating insects is the key to ending world hunger. Yeah, they've talked about how much that insects might become the big thing to snack on. I don't know if I would get into the bug eating, just personally. But maybe if they tasted all right, that's the thing. Anything tastes all right if you get the right balance and enough sauce. Now, voila, around the side. Pick and go again. South Africa slowly building towards the Italian try line. Pick and go again, this time from Charlie. Going to be released once more. Now around the side. Wherever their rugby balls are scrummy, says Marcus. It also can't beat Crackle Pork. Says God's Zone now being held up here. Italy wanting the steal, but they couldn't get it. This is a big moment in the game. If South Africa can get themselves a try now, they would get the bonus point secured no matter what in this contest. Now picking up that obstruction. Unfortunately, running into her teammate. I think she actually tried to use it as a barrier to stop herself from being tackled while forgetting that that would be a penalty against the box. How can they illustrate the plays with Lego figures, says Gus. I would need a lot of hands. Perhaps I should get about 10 friends and we'll just play out the game. That would be an interesting live stream, but I'd have to find some friends. We have got there as well. I'm highly dependent, or it's highly dependent on the type of insect. Random ants, etc. may not work. And we have got there, South Africa will use their bomb squad at 50 minutes like they did last week. Although last week, they emptied the whole bench at once, didn't they? Did you hear someone say showing live footage on YouTube? I assume that's just like a vlog, isn't it? Or like anything like that. That would be live footage. at the moment. Do we have the odds of this one here in New Zealand? That is the question. I don't think they have it as a live betting option at the moment. Could be wrong. Women's Rugby World Cup. Yeah, they only have Brazil versus France as the option, so I can't actually see the live odds. So someone said minus 200, and come on, girls, loving you from home in South Africa, says Shervin. Now we have there, it is sick. There is a lot to eat, why worms, says WJ. And yeah, South Africa used all 8 replacements at the same time, says all in the game. And also, yes, a delayed Lego match would be brilliant, says Matthew D. It would take a lot of planning, wouldn't it? In terms of making sure that everything is in the right place. So happy that you are broadcasting this. Thank you, Hamish, says Vanita Swart. No worries at all. And yeah, I was thoroughly excited for this game. For me, this was the most important match of the round alongside Australia-USA. Now, Australia-USA ended up extremely close in that regard. 31-31, the end score in that contest. But this game, you know, a draw would almost, you know, that would cause some problems in this group. First, shout out to our extended family in Jeffreys Bay. Love you guys. And 2 bits. We will see you soon, says Melissa. And the South African ladies look a bit gassed, says Flesh. Well, this game has been played at a quicker pace than their game up against Brazil. In that Brazilian match, they got to control the tempo. They got to choose when they went a little bit more attacking and when they got to take that foot off the gas just that little bit. And at 3:30 a.m., Hamish, your legend, says Desmond there. Yeah, I'm somehow still wide awake. I think it was because I had a little nap. I don't normally have a nap, but I decided 30 minutes was better than nothing. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. We might even, I don't know, what's the time? 3:30 a.m.? Depends when I'm starting work, although it has been raining, so I might be a little bit too wet for certain things. Could mean I could get the day off. Go golfing. I know that you'd think it was too wet for golfing too, but might be all right. I know in South Africa, the Bible is not the most popular, says Kevin. We have there, Big Rig Joe. I know that is nonsense. There is always something else to eat, says WJ. And also we have got there, Go the Box, Vanita. And also we have got there, yeah, they've only got 50 to 55 minutes in them. That's why they emptied the bench at 50 minutes. An interesting first half, second half. Box girls need to own it, says Blues Nate. And what are the odds for England women winning this World Cup? Oh, that's a question. Hang on. It might be suspended at the moment. Yeah, I think it's suspended at the moment, actually. But once all the games finish for this round, I know that they are the favourites. We have there as well about the odds. But yeah, I'd say it's probably England, New Zealand, Canada, France, Australia, South Africa, something like that maybe. Somewhere along those lines. I would say is possibly the odds at the moment. If South Africa win this game, if of course they don't, then maybe Italy get that next spot, or Ireland, maybe, because they should be through to the quarterfinals, I would say, unless something drastic happens. We have got there, truly a legend, all right, Hamish. You're our bomb squad commentator, brother. Says Sana there. We have got there, and there, I love it. Our girls are on fire since 2010. I think we are making history, if I remember correctly. Our last win in 2010. Go the girls, you got this one, says Melissa. And yeah, the thing is, if they make it through to the quarterfinals, even if it's a tough game, like, it will still be a massive achievement for this Springboks women's side. You know, they've looked a real deal throughout these first 2 games. They weren't given much of a chance up against the Italians at the start of the competition. But now, I think they're right up there. We see there some of the stats. Penalty conceded, 4-4. The lineouts are a concern here for the Italians. 3 lineouts lost of their 6 that they've been able to win. We've seen meters made extremely even here, 362 compared to the 347 of the South Africans. Italy have won more turnovers, but they've had 5 extra handling errors. So that's where the concern is. And possession, 54% for South Africa. I actually think that Italy are a little bit closer in this game than they look. It's just been those 5 handling errors that have really hurt them. There was one that they did drop the ball when they tried to fire it out wide, that if that one hadn't been dropped, perhaps it could have been another try for the Italians as well. But South Africa, the physicality, they are well and truly winning that battle. It's my dog's playtime. So my phone is with me, and she is looking around to see who is talking. She stops running every now and then, says Regine there. We have got there, we will do it. We are behind them 100% and watching from Venlo in the Netherlands. Thank you for the only coverage of the match I can get here. Says Real Pirate. No worries at all. And we are going to be covering that match next week for South Africa versus France as well. Like I mentioned, that one's going to be taking place Monday morning New Zealand time, but that will be... Oh, what's the time in the Netherlands at the moment? Netherlands time. At the moment, it is 5:30. So same time zone as South Africa, which means next week that game will be at 5:45 p.m. for you on the Sunday afternoon. And then also Italy, they will be playing just prior up against the Brazilians, but we won't be covering that one on the channel. Still plenty of action still to come in this Women's World Cup. We have there once again, top class commentary. Thank you. Always great listening. So here's Kevin there. Yeah, do appreciate you tuning in. At this sort of level, handling errors can be ignored. It must be addressed, or cannot be ignored, says Matthew. Yeah, I think that it's been the difference between these two sides at the moment, but nothing can take away from that quickfire try that we saw from the South Africans. LA having the try within 90 seconds of this game getting underway. But guess what caused that try? The Italian handling error. Became a scrum for South Africa where they have been dominant throughout this game. They've had quite a few penalty advantages in their favour. In fact, they've won 4 penalties, and at least 2 of those have been from scrums. Jancy van Rensburg doing very well in that number 10 jersey. Nadine Roos, she's been having a field day too. She got swarmed by the bench when she managed to get that try. It seems like halftime currently. It is halftime currently. Second half is just around the corner. What we will do is we will show the benches for these two sides. For the South Africans, they have got Ngwevu as at number 23. They've got Jacobs at 21 and Webb as the 22. But of course, those forwards, the ones that a lot of people are keeping an eye out for in this match, can they bring that extra physicality later on in the game, keep the tempo going? Because I do think if South Africa slow down, like I mentioned, that's where Italy will really start to thrive here. Yeah, quite a few celebrations every time that South Africa score. But they will be well and truly celebrating if they get themselves the win here. For the Italians, a few decent options too. We have seen a couple changes already made due to injuries. We saw a brief bit of Maurice out there. And I believe also we have seen Federici making her way on. That was due to the injury of one of the starting locks for Italy too. However, there the bomb squad, says Melissa. And also we over there, keep it going, ladies. Says Blues Nate. And there as well, but quite a few supporters for South Africa in the stands. I was looking at a Springboks kit yesterday. I learned that it's 2,500 Rand, which is the equivalent of 250 New Zealand dollars for the kit. It's definitely one of the most expensive kits around, but you can tell that people absolutely love putting it on for these matches. Keep it going, ladies. Says Blues Nate. Do let me know your in-score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. Will we see a Italian comeback, or will we see the Springboks hold on? 9 carries from Jancy van Rensburg. And meters made 54. 1 line break, 3 tackles made. She has the try assist too. She's been looking the real deal in that number 10 jersey. I just showing Dinkers some of her numbers. 44 meters made. 1 line break, 2 tackles made too. I love our bomb squad. Second half is ours, says Melissa. And there too. See, I got the first try scorer right in the first half. So I don't think I'm going to try and predict who scores first, but I will ask you guys, who do you think will score the first try of the second half in terms of the player matter of interest? How do you pronounce South African number 17's name? Says Matthew. Right, let's see how we go here. Ngingolo? Is that how you say it? I feel like I'm going to need a lesson on how to say that name at some point in the near future. But I think it is Nginging. The X is the bit that's getting me. I think it is Ngingolo though. Maybe. Is that anywhere near someone from South Africa? Let me know if I absolutely butchered that one. Over there go the Bockies. 35-22 is the score that Neil is predicting, saying South Africa by 10. We've got there Italy will win by 10 plus. Bockies fans more than welcome to help. So here's Matthew. One moment, we'll go like this. Second half. I just wonder whether or not if South Africa score first, as the nasal click, I thought it might be, but I can't quite get it. It's kind of like Ngaba Kaba, isn't it? In terms of that. So it's like a... In fact, I'm going to try it again now. We'll give it another go. We'll learn on the fly. Is that Ngolo? I just sound like I'm glitching. Ngolo. Hopefully she gets like 5 minutes at the end of the game and doesn't touch the ball. South African won't get that name either. Says Ben Brits. And how long before second half gets underway? Says Vincent. I'd say probably another 2 minutes or so. Thanks for the information, bro. Much appreciated. Says Anvin. Like I mentioned, we are going to be back. Says, just say Golo. And X is a slap of the tongue. Says Juan. Lilia has got the laughing face in it there too. And also, we have got there about saying Golo at the end. Is there a nickname? Does she have a nickname that she likes using? Ngolo says Juan there, and the person who loved the boats. Where is he? Or when is he coming back to the chat? I think it's Kerr. Kerr hasn't been here for quite some time. I haven't actually heard from him for a little while, but yeah, I hope he's doing all right. He'll be some random country around the world, I would say, at this point in time. Ngolo, not Golo, says everything gaming. Great win for Italy, says Vincent. And Kiwi names are equally hard, says Canilve. I feel like I've just mispronounced your name too, haven't I? Thank you for these proper pronunciation tries. Those clips wipe me out as well. Says Real Pirate and Boki's 31 to 19. Roos will score. South Africa will come back hard and win 35 points to 20. And we have got there, should you have an animal name like Beast or Ox? Says Studs Race. I don't know if those names go as well when it's a female player. Golo. You said Golo. Says Buyani there. Which channel is this game being broadcast? Says Michelle. It is being shown on DSTV. 201, 211, I believe, would be the two options in there. Italy will win South Africa out of gas. So yeah, Kerr, your stalker. To get an injunction. Says Flesh in there. He'll probably end up inviting me back on a ship at some point in the future, I would think. And again, thanks for all the attempts, says Matthew. And that's the best way to learn is to just do it from getting feedback. At the end of the day, I am happy enough to say when I can't say a name properly. And, that's one of those names. It's getting me. I think a lot of those other names off the bench, I'm not a mile off. So I look at it and I know that the X is the click. I just get stuck. My tongue hides in my mouth. It goes into my throat. What's her first name? She got a first name? Yonella. We could call her Yonella, but I do want to try and say her name if she does get the ball, of course, out of respect for her. We'll see how that goes. Golo word is its own. Oh. Oh, so I should. Oh, well, I apologize for that. Ngolo, I will say instead then, rather than just by itself. I can see why that guy was getting annoyed with me earlier on now. So yeah, I won't say just it by itself. Here we go. We are learning. I'm not going to use that one too often that I know of. But now second half, ready to go. In this contest, currently, there is the lead. I'm joking if you're watching Says Flesh in and lick at Bocky's last round. Keep it on. Says Asha. There is an old saying that Rome was not built in 2 days. That's true. But now, kicking off here for the Italians. York Community Stadium in York. And 25 metres out from the line, and already we see a big bump off coming for South Africa from the get-go. Question is, how much gas is left in that tank? They have played at a frantic pace. Nice pass on the outside from Jansi van Rensburg. Now in the hands of Solonsi. Goes on the outside. Big Finn coming in. Down the wing from Pupa. Doing very well shifting that position around. In their back line, Malinga waiting for it on the far side of the field. Nadine Ruiz. Wait a minute. Why is she playing halfback? So Tosi is off the field. That is for Webb. And Wevu has made her way on. That is for Wave. So that means Nadine Ruiz has moved from 15 to halfback. I did mention about how she was playing as one of those first receivers. You can't be saying Ngolo, that's a swearing word. So I beg no, rather Ngolo, says Boyanis. Yeah, I was completely unaware of it, but I'm sure anyone who was just popping in there before we were trying to pronounce it would have been wondering why I'm such a potty mouth. Now rolling this one back, and goes South Africa business in now, ladies, says Sana. Now Italy inside of their 22, kick downfield from Sophia Stefan. That's a good clearing kick. South Africa need one more try to get themselves a bonus point. Italy, they would also like a bonus point of their own from this contest. In fact, I think both of these sides would love a draw or more. Just have that best possible chance of going through. Italy, they've had the tough game up against the French already. And Rome was built by Julius Caesar with Lotto. Designed by him, says Daniel. Now inside ball for Nguevu, and she throws the ball on the ground. No release. So the penalty goes the way of the Italians. They have decided to take the quick tap. Italy having to retreat. I think from looking at the first couple minutes of this half, Italy want to up this tempo. That's a click sound on the X. Says Brett. Yeah, sadly the click sound doesn't quite come naturally to myself as of yet. I'm starting to get closer with Ngale, but other than that, I haven't really got too many of the other names. Naba still doesn't quite work for me, but I'm working on it slowly. We have there Daniel and Brutus was paid 120 days, says Kevin. And we have got there a Big Rig Joe, hopefully not with a 6-year-old. Wait, what's that? What's that from? Where is Big Rig Joe? I didn't even see the comment beforehand. Oh, the South Africa women should be the Impalas or something. There's a comment there. Now, Italy. Your best bet is to just keep on going, but front rows go down. South Africa do have themselves the scrum. Be back soon. Got WhatsApp messages. Somebody wanting to book. Says Bruce. I did not say that, says Big Rig. And also, you're doing well with the names. Says Riverside. Okay, just asking for a little bit of a higher set there in the scrum. Staying strong on the far side. Comment from this referee. Go like that. And we will go like that as well. But still the 5 points difference. South Africa, if they can score as quickly as they did in that first half, we have got there. Go the Bockies. We need another 2 tries. Says Simbongile. Now ball is available. Ele will break off the back. Going to Jansi van Rensburg. Nicely shifted again. And into the hands of Dolph. They do love a set piece off that scrum. Of course, that is where they got themselves their first try. And damn, says Blues Nate. And more Springboks in Namibia, and a little knock on from the South Africans in the breakdown. We'll get another scrum, but this time the Italians will have themselves the feed. 36 minutes remaining in this matchup. Could go down to the wire. Whoever wins this game is going to win a spot in the quarterfinals. It's okay. Blind Book says Melissa there. Now Sophia Stefan getting ready to put the ball into the scrum, which has been one-sided so far, I will say. Although Italy, when they've had their own feet, they have been able to keep the ball a majority of the time. But now, scrum does take place. 30 metres from the Italian line. Massive push from South Africa, but that ball still goes out the back now, using their back line. Is Tony Minuzzi, the lady who did score the first try. Chance of a 50-22, but Malinga just cleans it up in time off those Dinadine Ruiz, who's only 10 metres out from the try line. South Africa under huge pressure now. Who looks better? Says Vincent. I think that the physicality advantage has gone the way of South Africa as well as the set piece, but Italy look dangerous enough to be able to get a counter-attack going. It's just whether or not they can hang on to that ball or whether those handling errors cost them. Hi, Hamish. Go South Africa, ladies, says Heather. And also, who looks the more fresher? I would actually say probably Italy. They've made less changes. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I think they made the same amount of changes, but they do still seem to have that little bit of extra spring in their step. But that does not mean that South Africa won't be able to go the full 80. We Springboks need this win evening. Or even if it's by 1 point, we have to qualify, says Buyani. Your pronunciation okay, but not correct, says Regine there. And also we have got their chat's got bored, went to the mountain now. And also Rome wasn't built in a day, said the worker. Foreman replied, I wasn't on the job now. Short side chance here for the Italians, the draw and pass. And the try will be scored now. It should give the Italians the lead. It won't be the most difficult kick, but that is the last thing that South Africa wanted there. Scorbini does score it. And the Antelopes will be a good name for the female box. Says Hazel, but yeah, nice short side play at the line out, and then the draw and pass from Viceni, who did score the last try for the Italians, coming at just the wrong time. The box, though, getting forced back into their own area. They're starting to slow down. Nadine Ruiz trying to cover 2 players with one body. Didn't quite work out. Come on, Bocky, says Gaffron. Now the opportunity to kick towards the post. First kick of the match for Rigoni, who will take over the kicking responsibilities. Nadine Ruiz tries to charge it down, and that kick is short. From about 25 metres out, didn't have the distance there. Not sure how much wind there is as a factor, but 17-17 sitting here at the moment. Italy better back, South Africa better forwards. That's probably an easy way of saying than what I did. And Japan had a lot of smart line-out plays as well. And come on, ladies, fight back, says Benita. And we're all the ladies. Welcome in, girls. Let's go. These boys are boring right now. And game on. Says all in the game as well. But now South Africa just walking back up to the halfway line. They have to be very, very strategic here about how they approach now. The thing is, both of these sides have a very good potential getting bonus points from this contest. Nicely taken, Italy, inside of their 22. They were down 17 points to 5. They have scored the last 2 tries. South Africa trying to get on the ball. There was no clear release, so the penalty will go against the Springboks again. Quick tap taken by Italy. They have decided to just keep on letting that motor run. Now backline movement, trying to outwork the Springboks women's team. Nadine Ruiz. She has had to work extremely hard from the back. And she will have to continue doing so in this last 30 minutes. And Bok, I'll send you Biltong and Rovers. And go the girls, says Yorina now passed on the outside. Pull the Italians into the wide channel. Rush defence from Dolph does chop her down. Now pick and go. South Africa just managing to get back on side. Italy, Cookin says Big Rick. They are going like a house on fire at the moment. The Italians, they just keep on pushing. And because it is such a physical and dominant fallback from South Africa, you wonder if the fatigue is now starting to set in with the tempo that the second half has brought. Although in the breakdown should be the penalty to South Africa. Yes, it is. Solonsi getting on it and managing to get the steal. I don't see Italy men scoring 17 against the male box, says Big Rig. How many did they score in the July internationals up against the male box? A moment, we'll go like this. Oh, and one has gone into Dutch for South Africa. A few oohs and ahs from the stands. In July, the Italians scored 24 points against the male Springboks. And we have got there, at least you try and Hamish, says Brett. And there as well, right, couple more changes are being made. Charlie will make her way off for the loose head prop replacement, whose name just, it makes my brain cogs turn. Ingolo, maybe, hopefully. Something like that. Well, blow me, Hamish. Oh, no, it says blow me down. Sorry, I read the one above. But at least you're trying. We got their bomb squad at 50 minutes, called it. And come on, South Africa, Biltong and Brovos. Much better than spaghetti, says Refa there. Now going back across. Now Jansi finds Rensberg going on the outside to Elliot. Now another pass out to Malingo. Just tried to throw a miracle offload on the inside and it's grabbed again. RMG, pretty good attempt at pronouncing, says Milbay. Yeah, my biggest problem is the fact that I have to sit and look at it for 30 seconds beforehand. But by the end of the competition, if they make it through to the quarterfinals, I will try and guarantee you that I will do a lot better with that name. Now off to the right-hand side, Mpufu, or Mpufa, moving up now. 22 metres out, Nadine Ruiz, one of the Italians staying down here, which does mean that they will be playing with 14 for now. Nadine Ruiz, rush defence there from the Italians, trying to kick that ball through, almost kicked Dolph's head off. I get used to it, says Milbay, and come on the box. Says Vanita there, and come on the Lady Bok. And there as well. Do still see one of the Italian players dealing with a bit of an injury. Oh, Italy grabbed the ball, no halfback in play. So very smartly done by the Italian side. Now kicking downfield, might have been a deflection. It goes back infield now. Dolph looking for the 50, 20 through. 22, and she's got it. That is a fantastic kick there for these South Africans. They will be into. Oh no, it's been called against the 50-22. What's this? Oh, okay. My apologies. Because the ball was slightly charged down, it means that is the equivalent of taking the ball back into your own half, which is why it's not a 50-22. So Italy had it, although they almost just lost it. In the line-out time, they've dropped that ball just out from their goal line, but there is a penalty that has been awarded at line-out. Playing the lady in the air. Is the call there. And go Rus. There's Melissa there. Now kicking this one towards the touchline. Let's go out. 28 minutes remaining in this contest. 17 points to 17. Like they're saying, playing her in the air. That's what that penalty was for. But this one's too close. This is going a little bit similar to what we saw between Australia and the USA. It could honestly go either direction now. And that's going to make it so entertaining. But Italy now tackled. Going off to the right-hand side. Now a little pop pass up. Big collision too. Still the shots coming in, and that mistake has been due to that big hit. Don't worry about Hamish. I'm also struggling to pronounce these kind of names. There's Mornay Lagrange. Now 30 metres out, Nadine Russ again playing halfback. This is where we need to see a little bit more, I believe anyway, of... it is Mishatwa. And that number 7 jersey. I think I've butchered her name too. I was actually better at her pronunciation slightly on the first live stream. Now I'm overthinking it. And we have got there, you are better than Mark from Mexico, and 2 cents for pronunciation. Says Godzone there, and there's only one bok, and that is a Springbok. Says Suref, and enough time, says Melissa. Melissa. Now my tongue's getting all sorts of confused. And cast the Italians tackling are simply outstanding. Now going back across the right-hand sides. What a box. Shorter name for Springboks. But now, nice run from, would have been the replacement centre for the South Africans. Now starting to move forward again. It is Solotsi, but that's going to be held up here if they're not careful. Oh no, it's the release, but the penalty goes away as South Africa. Right. This might be a big chance now. And we have got there, that's better. Keep on. Ngolo? No, that was the click in the wrong place, wasn't it? Ngolo? It's still, I don't have that natural. What is that? There's a knock-on from Italy, but South Africa kicking it for 5 metres out from the line, and they didn't kick it out. I think the only benefit was that the Italians weren't expecting a kick to not find touch, in which case, Jansi Fans Rensberg, she almost absolutely butchered that. It wasn't even close to going over the sideline. I love you trying hard for the right pronunciations. This is the way. Says Real Pirate. And also, we have got their nice kick it over, South Africa. Says Casper. And Italy is Lea Zuri. And great job, Hamish. Please tell more. Often with the players on the field. There says Mike Coleman. So at the moment, 5 metre scrum out from the Italian line for South Africa. The change, yes, the farm will make her way off. She's had a very solid game. Will it end in a tie? There's a chance, but more than likely we will see a winner in this contest. And I'm sure why people in the chat are surprised that it's a close game. Italians have been playing France and England and improving each year. Yes, see, the odds, I think, got this game bang on the money, which was $1.85 one team, $1.87 the other. It's literally, it's a 50-50 for me. Definitely off the way that South Africa played in the first game. Scrum going too far upwards. And that means that we are going to have another reset. 25 minutes remaining, 17-17, in a game that matters in some regards more than, well, maybe not more than a quarterfinal, but this is a playoff game. Whoever wins this game goes through. Whoever loses misses out, unless some sort of really drastic stuff happens in the rest of the group stage. I'm eating a Bok right now, says V there. Okay, South Africa should win this, but it will be close. Now that it's said, do focus on commentating on the game, says Real Pirate. Now Nadine Rus, 5 meters out from the line. And excessive click your pallet downwards. Yeah, see, I'm still a little bit, once I can get that natural click happening without saying a name, that's when I think I'll be a lot more successful with these pronunciations. Like for now, I have to really force it. But it's just all in the tongue, isn't it, in terms of where that is. And it'll hopefully slowly improve. Nadine Rus, another chance here. And Springbok Biltong says Zoritha. Springboks will be even better with better conditioning, especially in the forwards. Says all in the game. I think it's a risk-reward factor, though, because they like to use that big pack. And with that, brings another penalty advantage. It's scrum time for South Africa. The front row's popping up. No, they've been told to use it. I can't believe that wasn't a penalty advantage. Now attack and run forward, just short of the try line for Ngwevu. Now breaking off. Ellie's going to be held up. They've done extremely well, Italy, to roll her over. Why is this game not showing on Rugby Bars? Anyone knows? I actually have no idea. I think they've done a couple other games, haven't they? And if it's a draw, I would say that it all comes down to points differential. And it's dependent on how much Italy can win up against the Brazilians and how badly South Africa get beaten by France if they do. And held up, well done by the Italians. He's all in the game, and that is a big moment too. Ruz is finished. Says Daniel, South Africa will be great for a few years, or in a few years, when some of that rugby wisdom transfers. Yeah, like they're already looking like a whole different side than we saw a couple of years ago. Nice take from Dolph. And now nice step coming here from the headgear wearing winger. Now, Nadine Rus back across. They are back in an attacking position once more. Love another advantage. Would they kick for the corner or take the easy 3, though, if they were given the option? I think at this point in the match, you might have to consider the 3, although they are also chasing for that bonus point. 10 metres out from the line. Pick and go off to the right-hand side. Thinking about reaching out there was Ngwevu. Now again, a pick and go just short of line, about 1 metre out. They have about 15 players all trying to get right next to the breakdown. She's on the post. She thinks she might have scored it, but it is going to be play on, I believe. And now again, South Africa just short of the line. Now they're over. And the Springboks women score the try. It might just have been Katha Jacobs. No, in fact, it might have been one of the other replacements. It isn't, is it? It is the replacement 17. Ngolo, who does score the try. Ngolo. I can't get. I sound like I'm beeping like a cat, but no, there's a second click. I don't know why that second click comes in, but she does score. She was always going to when I said that I couldn't pronounce her name, but a fabulous try for the number 17. Dolph at the moment, she's hitting 1 from 3, but she's got that kick over. 2 from 4. Now off the kick and D, and that is a crucial one. South Africa now sitting 24 points to 17. But it is close. I did hear the commentator didn't do the click either. He just said Ngolo for his one. Is that closer than me trying to click? We have to go there. Which channel is it playing on? 201, 211, I believe, are the 2 options. This looks like Ellie might have a little bit of a... Right, this is interesting. This is a quad injury here. I do also think that... Like, I don't want to say anything too bad, but I do think that this is also... Okay, I think Italy actually having a little bit of a conversation there with the ref about the scrums. Okay, her hips were out when they were going forward. Just a conversation there with Turani. But yeah, I think that this is, even if she is, let's say, 50% injured. I think she'll stay down for a little bit longer. Just strategically, it makes the most sense in this scenario. Have a bit more time, get that strapping on, catch the breath for the team. Yep, getting a bit of ice at the moment, it looks like. Okay, Sweetie, back to the game, please, says Real Pirate. Well, at the moment, the game has not started up again because of the injury to Ellie. She hasn't actually got any strapping on that leg, so she will be all right to continue. There's a video on how to pronounce their names. It is hard. Says Vanita there. Sound like an alarm clock with flat batteries. Probably a fair assessment. South Africa needs to get the balance right between better conditioning and power advantage. Says all in the game. Yeah, you do feel up against someone like France, they will try and really run them off the feet. The French, that's similar to what we've seen from Italy here. They keep on upping the tempo to try and wear out the South African side, but as long as they can last for another quarter here, great kick downfield from Nadine Roos again, gaining some ground. However, South Africa can't seem to score unless they are close to the line, says God's Own. It's not a bad thing, though, because they've done it 4 times throughout this match. In fact, no, the second try was Nadine Roos, a runaway from Jancy van Rensburg, wasn't it? But, like, the thing is, when you've got physical forwards, you're always going to get the chance of scoring when you're a couple metres out. Definitely with the attacking run from Ngwevu, we did see her make about 3 or 4 extra metres that put them very close to the try line. Now back across to the left-hand side. Chance here to pop it in behind for the Italians. First possession in quite some time for this Italian team. Roos is far from finished, the surname from Finland. Says Daniel there. Big shot. Way to the right-hand side again. Italy finding a lot of space. Malinga got it wrong. That was a forward pass. And I think that if South Africa is given the option of either going scrum or line out, I can guarantee you they will take that scrum. South Africa must score another converter try to be safe. I thought Roos was from Sweden. Says all in the game. And go the Bockies. You guys can, also you girls can do it. Says Vanita. And South African flags there from Thomas. Yeah, one more try. That is all South Africa need to feel safe. We see there Kafa Jacobs. She will make her way onto the field. And that is going to, wait, that is going to be for Hele. So they have decided to take her off. Nice. Big hug there for Hele, who did score the try. She gets the round of applause from the crowd. Oh, she tried running on that leg and now she is limping. Hopefully nothing too serious. Or else she might be out for that next game up against the French, although they may even save her for that game heading further forward. This feels awesome. Says Slump there. I'm going to the bank and popping some tags. Says Slump. We have got there's a Swedish female shot putter called Rus. Says all in the game. And all the South African flags there from Thomas as well. A lot of South Africans getting behind their side here, which has been absolutely incredible to see. Also, quite a few in the stands for this contest. I mentioned about the rain clouds in the background. They never actually arrived at the ground. We've still got bright sunshine and a beautiful early evening for rugby. 25 more minutes, guys. Not on good note. Says Slut. Now, Nadine Rus playing halfback again. Off to Ngwevu. Or Ngwevu, sorry, I should say. Oh, attack and run again. Moving 45 metres out. Or don't nut at all. Says Slump. And hello, Hamish, says Mariam. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. That is another penalty this time going the way of the Italians. They want the quick tap again. They are not giving South Africa any time to breathe whatsoever. That is now 3 in a row that they have decided to take quickly. And the penalty goes the way of South Africa. So now they'll get the breather. That backfires big time for Italy. They're only close, or only score close to the line. Says Rajin. And busy with a Springbok. On the women's Springbok, go the Bockies, Springbok, or South Africa, number 1. Says Suretha there. Now, kicked into touch. One does go into touch, Sweden or Finland. Says Daniel. And also, Bockie ladies show him where is the carrot. Buried in South Africa. Where is the carrot? Where is the carrot? I don't even know where the carrot is. Normally on the snowman, isn't it? On its nose. Tackles missed 25 from the Italians. We have to make... The thing is, right, this has to be a testament to Italy's cardio because they've made 170 tackles and they're the team that want to take the quick taps. Like, they just seem to have a gas tank that is a mile deep and they're still running it now. Backline movement going away to the left-hand side. Nice tackle made from Mpufa. Go girl, says Melissa. And Kiwi, my good lad, what are you doing after the game? Says Slump, we are going to be doing a short post-match review, I believe, or at least that was slightly organised, but I do know that there is potential that the person might be busy. But if not, then we'll be doing that little post-match review about what we've seen this round. Oh, knock on from the Italians. This is a trash showing from South Africa. What would you say would have improved it for them, Splash TV? And we have there with awesome commentary, says Regine. And that Ruse is a South African who immigrated from South Africa. We make them here, says Boyani. And nice try, ladies, go to the box. And go, ladies, says Vanita. And Real Tip tried to pronounce it as Ingingolo. I keep practicing this. Next step, don't try too hard. It's a very soft click, says Harris. So, yeah, see, I've fully put my tongue, right up there for the pronunciation. So I gotta try and soften the tongue a little bit. Every time that I try and say it, I just go at the start. No, see? No. It's once I get the next little, it's like juggling, you chuck your first two balls up, and then when you get the third one going, you're all good. But until I get that third ball starting to move around, it's a bit of a struggle. It might be time to admit defeat on this, Hamish, says Big Rig. And morning, Hamish, must be early there, says Gert. Yeah, we currently sit in 4:06 a.m., but the Springboks side have got themselves another scrum. They score now, I would say they almost win this game. I personally think women should not have sports because of the underperformances. Well, you're just sexist in that regard. But no, I think that this Women's World Cup has shown more than 100% that these sides all deserve to be here. At the end of the day, they aren't going to all of a sudden become a world-class side overnight, are they? You look at some of the men's teams. Some of them took 100 years to start playing good rugby. So, yeah, it would be pretty rough to say you can't play rugby because you've just started recently and you're not as good as you should be. And the click should ideally happen when you make the sound. Says Gus, but that one's gone into touch. A good kick downfield from the Italians. Little bit of a ball handling problem for Dolph. I'm here for people like Splash. How dare you? Says Boyani. We have got there, well done, doing a great job, says Theo de Jong. And we have got there, I don't do clicks. Actually, I buy their 2-ply toilet rolls. And go to the Boki, says Simongile. And we have got there some Murray Mixter bloopers coming out now, mate, says Marcus and King Hamish. What up? And we have got there South African men are the world champs, so the women can also be, says Suretha there. And disagree, coaches don't need 100 years. Well, coaches are dead after 100 years, aren't they? But, sometimes, you find a golden group of players. And honestly, I don't think South Africa are a mile off that at the moment. We've got to remember where this women's side were. Only, let's say, 2 years ago. I could go back, look through some of their results. Oh, they're just checking whether or not Dolph did touch this ball. And if she did, might be in a little bit of trouble. 2023, they were tying in games up against Samoa. Samoa recently lost 92-3 and 73-0. And South Africa now are looking like going through to a quarterfinal of this Rugby World Cup. That's only 2 years that we've seen that turnaround. Last time these two sides played, or in fact, one of the most recent times, 2013, Italy beat South Africa 36 points to 18. This score at the moment, South Africa have a bonus point, and they're sitting with a 7-point lead. There are times where some sides don't go forward. Name 5 players, as in 5 players from South Africa. Nadine Roos, Jansi Fans Rensburg, she's been phenomenal. Dolph's been looking pretty handy out on the wing. Mpufa, she is brilliant in the midfield at the moment. Alongside that, in the loose forward trio, Ali has been one of the standouts across the whole of the competition with 4 tries. How many did you want? That was 5. I could probably give you 10 if you're really keen. But another penalty goes the way of the Italians. We have got there, South African woman can do it. They just don't know it yet, says Casper. And also, we have got there, what time does it end, says Slump. We've still got 15 minutes remaining on the clock here. We've seen Rassi and the boys playing, stressful, but I know the girls will bring it home, says Melissa. And also, we have got there, women's sport are lit, says Sayo there. And I don't watch football. I know some people would prefer women's football because it tends to be high scoring, says Big Rig, and well done, doing a great job, says Theo. And there as well, a game has ended. Let's go, guys. Says slump there, go sit in the corner, splash. It's all in the game. Now ready to throw it in. Chance here for the Italians to look to level this one. They get the converted try, they'll be right back in it, and minimum 2 points from this game, more than likely. We are South African and proud of it, says Melissa. But now charging forward just that little bit further forward. 10 metres from the line. We need another 2 tries. They've got the penalty advantage here, Italy, and they go back for that penalty. Do they want the quick tap, or will they kick for the corner now? 17 side entry. We all know her name. It is Ngolo. I know one dies in women's football, says Gus, and A for absolute effort, says Harris. If South African women can only win their first World Cup, there'll be no looking back, says Casper. And we need another 2 tries. I agree, Casper. Our woman can do it, says Surefa. And there as well. They're now going to be thrown in. Says Arno. Now 5 metres from the line. Italy, pick and go. Trying to spin around there. There's no penalty advantage at the moment in favour of the Italians, but only 13 minutes left. This one is going to go right down to the final whistle, just 1 metre short. When in Brazil playing, they are playing actually almost now, I think. They were going to be playing up against the French. Another advantage in favour of the Italians. Short side towards the corner, reaching out just short again. They need to get this one back in field, definitely with the penalty advantage as the kick is crucial. And we know that the Italian kicker hasn't got a huge amount of distance. Another penalty advantage. South Africa could find themselves going to the bin here, in which case they would possibly kiss their hopes of a quarter-final goodbye. Now across again, firing it infield. Nadine Rus making the low tackle again. Now Italy working their way towards the post. 2 metres short, pick and go over the top. 1 metre now from the try line between the posts. There is the chance she gets it down. And it's going to be Sarah Sia who scores it. And that is a massive moment. It is going to be all level with 10 or so minutes to go. Love our girls. They've been through hell and back. We'll show the world we are the best, says Melissa. Will you stream it, seeing as it overlaps? Probably not, although that is ironic, seeing as we did this one. But yeah, they've already started. Brazil, after 22 minutes, are 31-0 down. So that seems like it's a pretty straightforward one. But just next to the post, getting that ball down, persistence from the Italians. Now, the question is, did the referee reach to her pocket there as well? I don't think she did, but that kick has gone over. 24-24 with 11 minutes to go. It is going to be a last-minute thriller. This is for a spot in the quarterfinals. Both of these sides will have to dig deep. But the question is, who is the fresher side? And at the moment, you'd have to say the ladies wearing blue look like they've got that little bit more stamina left. Another fist pump from the coach of the Italians. Get for the corner, says God's own there. Look, I love spaghetti, but I don't like the Italians. Born and raised South African, says Surefa there. There are some nervous fans in the stands at the moment. An absolutely electric crowd as well. It just adds more and more numbers to the overall attendance for this Women's World Cup. To the guy who made the 6-6 comment earlier, South African Women's Rugby and South Africa was only launched in 2001. Yeah, like they've come such a long way. Like I was saying, even in just the last year and a half, we have seen some drastic turnarounds from the South African team, you know, to beat the New Zealand XV in a game in South Africa earlier on. Obstruction goal the way of South Africa now. This one will be about 30 metres out from the line. Nadine Rus. It looks like they're considering going for the corner. Level big, South Africa teasing them. However, their try, says God's own. And now come on, South Africa, let that one go. You still have time. Go the Italian, says Zion. And come on, South Africa, says Conrad. And there too. Couple changes are being made again. Makua has made her way on. And also, it is Gunta. She has made her way on, the replacement hooker. Now we have their very 6-6 comment. These ladies are on fire. Absolutely they are. And this has been an insane game so far. Swiss not says. De Bruyne affected similar turnaround as Rassi. See, if you had put the full name, I would have known who you were talking about. But, yeah, I normally just call him De Bruyne. Or De Bruyne, sorry, because I can't say his first name. Very well, as you've learned. This is where you see how South Africa can perform. We like a challenge, says Casper. And also we have got their 31-0, and 22 sounds like Braziliana performance. Well, at the moment, it's still 31-0, so they haven't conceded in about 4 minutes. Lord Hamish, can you make a call? Ask the Italian to stand down, says Sayur. And also, we've got there, if South Africa wins the World Cup, we have a string of public holidays dedicated to all the teams. Yeah, it would be huge, even to make the quarterfinals, you know. It's probably further than some people thought that they would go in this competition. Oh, what's the call here? The referee wasn't ready for that line out. Okay, time is off. Italy were like, why can't we play? And ref says, well, we're still changing people. And South Africa not the same without, it was a Caesar Aele. The thing is, though, my honest opinion for this game, right, she wasn't as busy as she was in the first match. I actually don't think we saw a huge amount of her crash ball running throughout this game. But she also did a lot, a big collision there. Like, it's still probably about a 7 out of 10, but her last game was about a 9.5 out of 10 the way that she played. Can the ladies drop kicks these gold zone? She also did score that first try of the match for the South Africans. But yeah, they'll go for a drop kick if it was on the cards. At this point, I don't think we're quite at the stage where we'll see the drop kick come out. Could our ladies be fatigued? They absolutely are. Both sides are. We just saw there one of the Italian players trying to stretch out a bit of cramp. We've got to remember, Italy have tried to push the pace here. They've tried their best to run South Africa off their feet. But in doing so, if South Africa's gas tank perhaps is a little bit more than they expected, they may have gassed themselves in the process. So South Africa were ahead, and now they're even Steven, says Ruth. Yeah, so they were 17 points to 5 up in this game, and now the score sits 24-24. Now Italy have got themselves the ball about 20 metres out from the line after South Africa losing their own line out. And I'm watching the breakdown now. CSCU. I'm back into the pocket. A lot of pressure coming in from the Springboks. Now 40 metres out from the line. Attack and run up the middle from Mpufa. 25 metres from the line. Nadine Roos. Cross to Jansi Fans Rensburg. Shoveling it on. Passes on the outside. Chance here for Malinga to show off her stepping. And they get the job done. And Dinka, she's had to make a lot of tackles throughout this game. Out on that left wing. Turani has hurt her shoulder. Italy playing with 14. Oh, was that obstruction or is it play on it? It's going to be all right. And now they'll look to use their backs. One more Puffer right near the corner. 12 metres out from the try line. Pick and go from Ngwevu. She always makes metres. Putting them in the box seat. Close to the sideline. Wrestled just about into touch. But now pick and go facing backwards for Ngwevu. She just can't avoid the ball at this point in time. Now 1 metre short, lot of players for Italy on the ground here. Perhaps one or two of them maybe in an offside position. No advantage as of yet. Just short of the line again. 1 metre around now. They're over. South Africa score in the 73rd minute. Who's it going to be? It is none other than the other lady whose name I've been struggling with, who I did actually practice during the week. It is Sinazo Inka Shalwa. That was bad. That was not even close. I know it as well. I was practicing it during the week. I was getting lessons on how to say it. And in the moment that it was probably a defining career moment for her, we mispronounced it badly. Getting better, Hamish, says Vanita. And we got it, says Sayua. And come on the Bockies. And another try for France, 36 now, and maybe a penalty kick will win it. And stage fright, says Jimbo. I love how you pronounce their names. And there as well. Yeah, that one was certainly not my best one. I'm going to have to go back to school for learning that one. Oh, drop kick there from South Africa. And it's short. She ran out of time. The ball fell off the tee. And she hasn't got it. We have got there. Rufo will arrive at your front door very soon. That's a bit of a statement. Of course, the name's very difficult for you, says Mvleni. And I says Casper, short kickoff from Italy, but taken by South Africa, who have given Italy half a chance to get back into this game due to that missed kick. They needed to hold that ball on the tee. She went for the drop kick, which was going straight and up, but just didn't have the distance on it to be able to finish it off. And kudos for trying on pronunciation. Hamish says Red Howe. Yeah, we'll have to get better, of course. Definitely if South Africa win this game and they make their way through to the quarterfinals. So sorry to the commentator. Some of our names are so difficult to pronounce. It's Suretha now moving forward again for I keep on wanting to call them the Blitzbox, seeing as Nadine Ruz is at the helm in that number 9 jersey, but Mpufa with the good fend. Moving up to 35 metres out from the Italian line. One more try, and South Africa would win this game. It is going to be close, and it's going to be crucial. Ladies dig deep now, says Venita, and nearly pulled off the drop kick. Oh, it's a penalty to Italy. And that is a massive moment again. That kick may come back to bite the South Africans. Aim to shoot a bomb, smashing those names out of the stratosphere. And I Springboks ladies and love our girls, says Melissa. 4.5 minutes left, moving up close to the halfway line now for the Italians. Anyone who is new, I should mention, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we are going to have plenty more of this Women's World Cup around the corner. Next week, we are covering South Africa versus France, which should be a very intriguing game to see where South Africa are compared to the French, who are considered as one of the top 4 favourites in this competition. Looking like a boot adjustment for Yonela Ngolo. I click in the wrong place. It's always the click comes naturally for the wrong part of her name. Ngolo? No, not quite. We'll work on it. I'll go back to school. I'll get my lessons. I'll listen to someone say it 50 times and hopefully we'll get it by the next one. And Shwala or Shwalwa is over, says Bayani. You'll take on the Bok All Blacks on Saturday. It's going to be a great game, just like this one. Hopefully as close as this game too. You can do this, ladies, says Vanita. Time left, says Andre. At the moment, 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Going to the blind side here for the Italians. They will have to travel 80 metres to be able to get themselves a try. And also, they would have to convert. Big collision and a big knock-on from the Italians. South Africa now have themselves the scrum feed. I think they're asking for a high shot penalty, the Italians, but I don't know if they're going to get it here. And fight the Bockies, says Neil. 3.5 minutes remaining. The scrum should use up a good few seconds. And alongside that, we've got to remember, the scrum of the box has been stronger. They win a penalty here, they can take the 3 points. And that would get them outside of the 7-point margin. Now, it's not a guarantee, because the kicking has been a bit 50-50. We have got there South Africa hang in there, says Cyber. And also, whatever happened to an Italian job, this game's not over yet. Front rows go down. You cannot guarantee that Italy won't find a way back into this contest, which is why I'm sure both of these sides will be on the edge of their seats. Well, the edge of their boots, I guess. The crowd will be on the edge of their seats for this match. You can see there the nervous bench for South Africa, the ladies who did start in this match. Now we have got there, Boki says Juan. And also, please remind what time New Zealand versus Springbok game is on Saturday, South African time. It will be 9:05 a.m. on Saturday morning for you guys in South Africa. We are going to do a nice big build-up to that match. Are you going to do a podcast after the stream, says Mornay? No podcast, but we will possibly have a post-match review. I'll give it a few minutes after the match and see whether or not they do end up joining. I got 8:05 from Conrad. Another penalty to South Africa. Right, that is 2 of the things that I mentioned. I said that they had the scrum, they win the penalty, now they just have to kick this one over. Wait. They aren't taking the shot at 3. It's about 20, 25, 28 metres out. Don't get me wrong, it's a hard kick. But surely you go for it, don't you? Straight in front of the post. Give you 8-point lead. I guess it's the risk of they're just maybe trying to use up the rest of the time. Is the only thing I can think here. Trying to maybe get another penalty. And then that will get them in a position to be able to kick it over at the end. But now scrum feed. They have to make sure they win this one. Are you going to do a podcast in the week? Isn't like a penalty to Italy. Oh my goodness. They may have just butchered this South Africa. Why didn't they take the 3? It was right there. No confidence in the kicker. But she's got them over from that distance. Ball stolen back by South Africa, though. They have just taken it straight back. But now, sitting about 25 metres out from the line with 70 seconds remaining. on the clock. And what a waste, says Mr. Orland. Yeah, they did all the hard work. They decided to take the quick tap. Italy get another penalty. Every breakdown, someone's getting in there. This time it is the replacement 21 for the Italians, Batonci, who gets in there and steals it. Italy, kick for touch. They haven't taken the quick tap this time. They haven't found touch. The ball, oh no! Janzi Fans Rensburg keeps the ball in the field of play as it was right on the tightrope. Drop ball from the South Africans. Nadine Ruz retreating in a foot race has to force the ball dead. And it's going to be a goal line dropout. I can't tell if Italy are trying to win this game or South Africa are trying to lose it at the moment, but it seems like neither one of them are securing this game. The knock-on was way back there. Italy want the scrum, but they're not going to get it. They're going to go 22 dropout, goal line dropout from South Africa. They're going to look to go short. Janzi Fans Rensburg, but there is risk and reward here. They are going to kick it high. She's kicking it, and it bounces into touch. What a kick that is. And that will be the end of the game. Italy defeated by South Africa. Janzi Fans Rensburg has pulled off a miracle there in the jaws almost of defeat and a comeback. Surely Italy knew that that was coming, but it bounced into touch and South Africa are through to the quarterfinals. At least they should be. They'll have their match up against the French just around the corner, but you can see how much it means to their side. There are tears, there are hugs, there is elation for the South African team who have now made a bit of history of their own. And it's the nerves right at the end, both teams making mistakes. And I told you a lot, says Bruce, and also we've got there, well, that's some great game experience for the girls. Oh yeah, that was a toenail biter, says Michael there. And what a game, says Lilia B. What an absolutely crazy contest. I know that the game between Australia and USA ended 31-31. I think that this game has to go for match of the weekend, though. The end, the kind of controversy, not taking on a 3 points for the South Africans that almost led them to conceding a try right at the end of the game. But it was a goal line dropout from an experienced head in Libby, Janzi Fans Rensburg, that secured the game. There are tears on the side of the Italians as well. They know that this was the game that they had to win. And with them being defeated here, it means that they will go home from this World Cup competition. They've got a game up against the Brazilians next week. South Africa, they've got a game up against the French, which I am sure they will be fired up for. Way to go, South Africa ladies, says Heather. And they will get a nice juicy boost on the world rankings too. These South Africans, I believe with this win, with where Italy are ranked, South Africa could find themselves top 10 in the world. If not higher than that, maybe 9, maybe even 8. Maybe not 8. That might be a bit too high. I don't know how to calculate the women's one. I know that they have a men's world rankings calculator, but I don't know about the women's side of things. In that regard, thanks for the great commentary, says Suretha. I can't wait to see the highlights of this game. And thanks, Hamish, says Arno. And great commentary, you're keeping us on the edge. And congrats, South Africa. Commiserations. Italy, awesome game from both teams. And Italy deserves a bonus point match of the tournament for sure so far. And bye-bye, Italy, says Ruth there. And also, we have got their one under Bockies. Hopefully, good signs for the next weekend versus the ABs. What spirit, Hamish? Your commentary is next level. Thanks, mate. Says the online business coach. Women's rugby is crazy. I love it. Says it was there from, where'd that one go? It was Zach. And thank you for creating your channel. Your little beauty in East Auckland, Yahoo. Says innocent anglerfish. And also, it is not long before South Africa ladies take number 1 spot in the world. Says Casper. And if the Springboks Women play New Zealand, they might be facing them in the quarterfinals. That is the one slight downside, I guess you could say, for the South African team. The fact that they will go through to the quarters, they will face France next week, and then they will have a very tough game around the corner. But we've also got a guest for this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. He is just getting his camera sorted, and then we will be all good to go. He will be a very happy man. You will hear the South African accent straight away. Practices her names, mate, says Leon. Yeah, there's a couple that I do want to work on, and I'm going to have to because they're making their way through to the quarterfinals. Springboks should have taken the 3 points. They should have, but at the same time, it didn't cost them, and it heavily could have. You know, they could have found themselves conceding the last-minute try in the final moment of the game. Great commentary, Amish, much appreciated, says Gert. And next match is France, says Simongili. It is indeed. It is going to be next week. Thank you, Hamish. I will ask his people to talk to your people. Great commentary and give them the comments on all the armchair rugby fanatics. says David there. And we have got there, thank you for keeping us on the edge of our seats, says Melissa. And we have got there, don't jinx it, Casper. And there as well. But we see there, Jansi van Rensburg, the big, massive mouse on her forehead from where she took a shot and a breakdown early on in the game. That one's going to need a little bit of swelling control. But South Africa are dancing at the moment in the middle of the field. Only about probably 15 metres from Italy, which they will certainly be hurting from this game. Thanks kindly, Hamish. You're the best commentary, brother. Rest well, and GB, says Sana. And there too. But I do see we're still having a couple technical difficulties with the camera for our guest at the moment. So we are just waiting a little bit longer. Ellie is having a bit of a dance there with one of the other players. We see there the Italy captain. They are going to have a bit of a conversation with her. She's got a black eye. She's got blood pouring out of the nose. She put her heart and soul into this game. Great game. Glad you didn't show all your hand because the ABs is watching. Says Stephen there and got the Bockies 1 try. Let's go. And also, this was all says in there. And again, the man his due, says Elias. He's helped the side phenomenally. You know, making it through to the quarterfinals of a World Cup. Oh, I see a Vern now, which does mean we will be able to get him on for this post-match review. So with a little bit of luck, if I click this button and this one, hopefully, there he is. Welcome in, Vern. Hope you're doing well, mate. You got the Springboks kit on. I'm sure your heart's probably still pounding. What did you think of that game? Oh, we can't hear you, I don't think. No, we still can't hear you. I know that your camera was playing up a little bit. I saw you trying to chop and change it. 1 second, we'll go like this as well. We'll put you up. We'll at least give you a little bit of a bigger space on there. Don't panic. We're all good. We'll keep on talking while you are sorting that one out. Come on the box, says Brett. And there, the Springboks done it, says Johannes. And look at that black eye. Yeah, it's taken a massive shot to the face at some stage for the Italian captain. But yeah, South Africa, they are singing, they are dancing. And they know that they are through to the next stage. Yeah. Unless something... Oh, we can hear you now. Vern, I'll ask you again, mate. Heart racing. What a game from the South Africans. Having to dig deep. Did they almost let it slip through the fingers?
Hi, Hamish. Oh, man. What? That was worse than the men's Springboks. Holy moly, man. Oh, I thought I was having a baby there for a second. It was nerve-wracking. It was absolutely nerve-wracking. But what a game of rugby, man. I enjoyed that so much. It's my first ladies game I've ever done. So it's great one.
It's probably a great introduction into it as well, isn't it? This game, first off, you know, from the start, it seemed like it was going to be close. And, you know, those last-minute moments, there were the question marks of whether or not South Africa would gas out because of what we saw early on. You know, going with the physicality. Italy, quick taps every chance that they got to try and speed this game up. Did that almost cost them in the end? Or do you think this was one of those ones that just that last moment, they just didn't quite get it right?
I think they didn't get it right. I mean, South Africa, I was going to... you saw... When the game started, I thought the Italians had the better conditioning. They looked fitter, but leaner. They looked quicker. But the South African ladies were bigger. And I was just hoping that they keep the ball by the forwards. The Italians, the minute the ball got the ball out to the back line, it was always dangerous.
Yep.
But somehow they did it. Whew. And they've never beaten Italy. So, oh man, it's just fantastic. I'm lost for words. I had so much fun. It was unbelievable. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was amazing.
And the thing is, like, we look through what the South African side has done over the last 2 years. You know, we were looking through at their results. They had a draw with Samoa 2 years ago. Samoa now are getting beaten 92-3. Whereas the South African side, they are through to a quarter final of a Rugby World Cup. Now, it gets harder because they have France next week. And then in the quarters, they will more than likely be playing New Zealand, the defending champions. Yeah, that's probably not what you wanted to hear there, but... It's going to be just incredible to watch what this side does from here. They haven't had a huge amount of injuries either, which is great news. Although, I mean, that Jansi van Rensburg mouse on her head from that shot earlier on, like, she had an outstanding game. We've got Vic in the chat as well. As he go the Bok. And also he put our next week box hammer the Kiwis in there too. And we have got there...
doing the Liverpool against Arsenal game.
We have got there as well from Vernie. Has said it. What is that background? without Vic, the man is lost. But, of course,
True.
anyone who doesn't know, it is Vic and Vern from the Vic and Vern Sports Chat. He is going to be doing the Man United game very soon, Vic. Sorry, not the Man United. It's Arsenal,
Arsenal is on
isn't it?
now.
Oh, is it on at this moment? He's
now,
multitasking big time then. And Hamish, your guest, let's go check his heart, says Regine. Yeah, I think there's many South Africans who will have to get that check after that kind of game. But I know that 31-31 draw between Australia and USA, it was intense. There were some brilliant moments. But is it right in saying this was probably match of the competition so far without any sort of bias? Like, this one's felt more stressful than that game in some regards.
Yes, I only watched the last bit of that one because I was doing I think it was the Curry Cup. It was very stressful. I thought, because everybody in the chat says, yes, South Africa, they want South Africa to win. The heart was for South Africa, but they think Italy is the better team. But I thought the Springboks played fantastically. They really put everything out on the line. They could have made the game close. They had 2 obstructions in the first half that should have been tries. The game could have been already out of it by then, but wow. No, I thought Nadine Ruiz played really well. Then playing fullback, then playing scrum half. She played well. The big number 8, like I said, I've never watched the game before. I'm not really used to the names of the ladies, but I'll check that one quickly. The number 8
it would have been LA in that number 8 jersey.
She played fantastically as well. A lot of them played really well. It was just so much fun to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, man.
And now heading into the next round, South Africa, they do have France, but it's an intriguing contest because Italy did lose by that 24 points to the French.
Yep.
Now, if this game had been a draw, that game would have been absolutely crucial next week. Whereas South Africa, they can kind of take the foot off the gas. They can enjoy this ride that is a Women's World Cup because, like we said, they've come a long way in a short period of time. And, Italy's hands let them down in the first half, I think, is one thing that they'll look back on and say they should have been a little bit better. But also, that is how South Africa scored their first try. LA with the run after the knock-on from the Italians right off the get-go. It's been a crazy World Cup. I feel like the more games that we have seen, we've actually seen more people who were on the fence about this World Cup at the start well and truly embrace it. The crowd, they have been electric for every single game that we've seen so far. And there's just now that belief that, Twickenham's already sold out. We have no idea who's going to be there because there's so many fantastic teams, some of the underdogs doing well too. But no, even I got a little bit, my heart was going a bit at the end. I think it's still slightly going. I feel like I've been on a treadmill or something.
I was losing it. I was jumping up and down. My wife sitting next to me. She's like, calm down, calm down. I was absolutely, no, it was fun. But I'm really looking forward to the French game because South Africa has improved so much. What I heard. Like I said, I don't watch women's rugby, but I'm definitely going to keep watching women's rugby. That's for sure, because this has been amazing. I like the French game is going to be to see how, I don't know if they're going to play all the players, the top line, because I would play a bit of, if it was me, the coach, I'd play the reserves to get the girls a bit of a rest there for the quarterfinals. But it's just been fantastic, man. Good rugby, fun to watch. And I'm really looking forward to the Australia against England game because that's going to see who's going to make that group phase as well. Because some of the games at the beginning were really blowouts, which really I just wasn't that interested. But the Australia USA game really got me into it. I must say that really got me. I knew this game was going to be tight, but so happy for that win, man.
And Jancy van Rensburg just controlling the game from 10 as well. I feel like her, Nadine Roos, and LA are probably the 3 that you don't need to risk up against the French. They're the first ones that, if I was the coach, I'll be writing off the piece of paper for next week. But, it is such a brilliant win when you really look at it. And I feel like it's one that will be talked about for a little while because, this game pretty much 50-50 heading into it. Both sides had a brilliant chance of being able to walk away with it. But the Boks had to show some real heart to be able to get over the line here. And that's something that in some of the other previous games, people have been a little bit critical of. They had 2 games up against the Canadians, 50 points to 20. Another one there, 33 points to 5. So if they can get a few things right, I mean, of course, this is a miracle run. If they manage to beat New Zealand in the quarters, then they'd have to probably face Canada or France or someone like that in the semi, and then perhaps even England in the final at Twickenham. But the fact that we can even talk about that now and say that that is an option, I think is absolutely incredible for this side. But
it's just, okay, their goal was to make the quarters. They've made their goal now. It's fantastic. Anything else is a bonus. But if they do face New Zealand, I think it's the end of the road. But it doesn't matter. They've done the country proud. That's the most important. They've done themselves proud. And they've won a lot of people over to watch rugby, ladies rugby. So that is the most positive thing out of it. Because there's a lot of male South Africans that are really like, oh, rugby, women's rugby. I find they've won new supporters, which is fantastic. And a little bit of belief there. And that's all we want, man. That's the main thing.
Of course, now we get two different games that will be New Zealand versus South Africa on the same weekend, men's and women's. That game down in Wellington, but nonetheless, I think that is almost going to be the end of this one. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to check out Vic and Vern. I will put their link in the chat. What these blokes do is a whole heap of stuff. They have got rugby, they have got football, they've got sumo, baseball, NFL, NBA, any competition. I'm sure I've missed about 5 that you guys cover, but they do a daily sports show about the updates around the world, so be sure to check that out. And also in the near future, we are going to be doing a video based around the Springboks and a lineup prediction. I don't know whether or not Vic has told you about that yet, but
he mentioned it quickly.
Yeah, so that's been confirmed as something that we're going to do. But nonetheless, do thank you all very much for tuning in. Massive congratulations to South Africa, and also congratulations to Italy. I know that sounds bad now that they've lost, but they fought hard in this game. And, it's just, they'll have a good game up against Brazil next week, but it just won't be the same, seeing as they know they're going home. But they'll want to finish on a high. And now we look forward to South Africa versus France. But thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.